Welcome back to another live stream of the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Dave.
Nice to be back. As we've just gone live, the dogs decided to have a fit and try and open the door over there. So if I rush off quickly, it's because the dog's going to knock over something badly. No, he's running outside now. Anyway, hi there all. We have another jam-packed show for everyone to enjoy tonight. We're going to do our round two of our, what we call this one, Dave? We called it Blame Canada series.
Canada.
So this is number 2 of Blame Canada series, which will be Vices from Kickaxe versus Metal Queen from Lee Aaron. We're going to discuss a recent brain fade from a particular Melbourne bar. We'll discuss or play Would You Rather when it comes to a bit of Ozzy Osbourne stuff. We're going to review the latest from Nothing Sacred, as well as do something a bit of a pre-taped thing here, a lip sync kind of equivalent for us when it comes to
Santa Cruz concert.
Yeah, when it comes to a special review from Van Halen, a classic review there. Got some new singles to talk about from Frozen Crown and Space Cat. We're also going to premiere live tonight a brand new single from Avalanche, which is due out tomorrow, but you get to see it here exclusively tonight before anything else goes ahead. As always, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all the usual shit. Give us your thoughts, as always, in the comments to follow us and to keep in touch. Check out the description box of this episode, whether you're tuning in live or watching later or listening later on. All the details, all the links you need are there. Same thing for the things we're talking about tonight. We'll have links to all the music you can check out from stuff here tonight. We'll put it in the comments as what we do live, but there's also stuff in the description box for you to go and check out. And the same thing applies to our fantastic sponsors. Check out Squid Ink Screenprinting, Alt-Cvlt Rockstar Finance. Their details, just like ours, are in that description box. So give them a like, a follow, or a share. Any of that sort of stuff is greatly appreciated. Helps them, which in turn helps us, of course. Like I said, there's a lot to get through tonight. We have heaps to do, including that special premiere, which doesn't happen very often for us at all. So before we get stuck into things, let's do the rounds and kick it off. Dave, how have you been this week?
I'm good. I've been very busy. It's been a crazy week. I literally stepped out the shower like 15 minutes ago, so my hair's like wet. Didn't even have time to blow dry it. So all that content's coming to the OnlyFans and all that shit. So keep an eye on that if you're following me, which doesn't exist, but in your mind, if it is, all good. But yeah, I had my birthday last Friday, took the day off work. I am now 43, feeling old. But it was a great day. When I had a breakfast burrito at Guzman and Gomez. They got the big ones now, the mega size breakfast burritos, which is even more cholesterol, which is fantastic. Then we had Hungry Jack's for lunch, and then we ordered a pizza for dinner. So I was eating healthy that day. And Julia made a ripple cake. So just wanted to keep it simple. Nice. And yeah, we watched that movie Megan about the killer doll. Yeah, that was really good.
Okay.
Don't know it?
Don't know that
it's
one.
Kind of like a one of those reality, what do you call them? Like interactive dolls. And because it's like futuristic, well, not really futuristic, but technology's gotten to the point where it can learn and can update itself, and it becomes psycho because its one objective is to take care of this girl that she befriends, that the stepmother or the auntie is her kid. Anyway, it was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
And then spent the afternoon. After I picked my kids up from school, spent the afternoon watching 80s glam music videos on YouTube. Nice. So, yeah, that was me. But funny thing, after we finished last week's stream, and we were chatting afterwards, and went up and got some chips. Somewhere in between getting those chips and saying goodnight and goodbye and everything, I clicked my ankle out of place. So I couldn't walk properly. I'm limping around for the rest of the night while I'm packing everything up. I had injured myself like 30 years ago in school. I slipped down a flight of stairs and clicked my ankle out of place. It's like that loose bit there. Yeah. So that took ages to get back in. So every now and then over the last 30 years, it will click out of place.
Right.
And I can easily just put pressure on it and click it back in, but I couldn't do it. So it wasn't until the next morning that I actually managed to, it was like, got up half an hour later, it was fine. So I didn't fuck up my birthday. But the moral of the story is I must be getting old because I can injure myself simply sitting down.
Yeah, well, I did my first serious back injury years ago walking across the bedroom floor, but yeah.
Deceptively flat floor. It must be.
Yes, they're bad, aren't they? They're bastards.
They get you anyway. But apart from that, I had a good birthday. Work's getting crazy. Kids are back at school. The routine definitely back in now. Holidays are over. The weather's shit in the mornings, but it gets nice in the afternoon. Apart from that, how you been, mate?
Good. Had a couple of, we caught up with our daughters for dinner on the weekend for the first time since Christmas, which was nice. Caught up with my family the following night for my stepmom's birthday, which is nice. So it's been one of those weeks again for me where, just when this time of year is always crazy for me because there's a whole lot of birthdays in a row. So between family members, nephews, nieces, all this sort of stuff going on as well. It just goes nonstop. Every weekend there's something for me, which is like, fuck. But it's all the good things, but it's just like there's always so much to do, and it's like there's no downtime with anything. But it's all good. The other side of the coin is that, which Dave knows about behind the scenes, there's a few big things happening on my end, which I will get to in due course this year as we move along. But there's some changes coming up behind the scenes here, and everything's good. Everything's really good. It's just that, there'll be some switches happening, but the preparation work for that, it's several months out. It's a bit ambitious what we're doing. So it's a few months away yet, but the prep work for that is also extremely demanding on time. So even though normally at this time of year I don't have time, I've got even less than usual. But, it's a first world problem. You complain about the things you can complain about because you can, but everything's good. Everyone's happy, healthy, and well. It's been pretty good overall. I have a more somber bin tonight for reasons that I'll get to later on, but generally speaking, everything's good and I can't complain. So as long as the people I love and care about and the people that love us and support us are all happy, healthy, and well, then I'm good. That's all I need. So everything's good. Got some people here tonight with some regulars, and I got Jeff in the waiting room as well, which is cool. Good to see you, buddy. We'll bring him in later on. We'll do our Blame Canada round 2. But Nicole is here saying hello, everyone. So good to see you again as always. Same with Conrad. Conrad's saying hi, guys. Good to see you too. Darren, hey all, another one. Vinny's gone. That's what I'm talking about. Evening, lads. Good to see you again, buddy, with the puns. Basher, g'day, boys. Good to see you again as well. Sally, good to see you too. Hi, guys. Awesome. Conrad, Jeff Tate was off the hook. Chain Brilliance last night. Did all of Rage for Order and Empire. Came back on for an encore closing with the show. Closing the show with Eyes of a Stranger and Queen of the Right. Nice, man. I've heard really good things about that, and I heard Demon Head did well too. So it's been a good night all around. Here you go, Dave. Nicole's gone old to be 43 again. Glad you had an awesome birthday, Dave. So there we go.
Thank you.
What do we got here? Vinny says, hey, Dave, 2 flyers were sitting on a fresh turd the other day, nice and quietly, until one rips off a massive fart. The other reacts with disgust and says, do you mind? I'm eating here.
That's a tasteless joke.
Jeff's enjoying it in the background there. He's clapping away with this thing going on. Just a bit of fun there. Rowan's here giving us the horns as always. Good to see you, buddy. Same with Darren. Hi, guys. Good to see you as well. Thanks for jumping in tonight. We got Basher. Jeff Tate was awesome last night. An amazing concert. The guy next to me described it perfectly as fucking unbelievable. There we go. Another good praise for last night's gig as well. Well done, Basher. Thanks for sharing that one with us too. Avalanche, hey legends, hey, how you going? We're going to get to your clip soon enough, so just keep your eyes peeled on that. And Darren says, are we going to Megadeth? There are a lot of people going to Megadeth. There are a lot. I probably won't be going. I can't really afford the time or the expense right now, but there are a lot of the crew going to be at that gig on that night. So if you're looking for us, you'll find a few of us there. And there we go. We got Michael. Good evening, all. Good to see you as well. Thanks for jumping in over on YouTube. And we got Phil over on Twitch. Good to see you. Hello, Rockers. Morning from Denmark. Hopefully you're keeping well over there as well. All right. We'll get to the premiere soon, but we do want to do a couple of quick little singles here first. And we've got our songs of the week before we get to Avalanche, just as the usual progression of things rolls on. So in the comments, in the description box, you're going to find the latest from Frozen Crown with their new song, Black Heart. This is Dave's pick of the week this week. So in the comments, in the description, check it out, while Dave gives us his thoughts on why it's his song for the week.
Yeah, I've been following this band for a few years now. They impressed me when we first reviewed their first album back in 2018, I think it was. And they've had 2 albums since then, and they've just been getting better and better. But I really want them to do something really epic to kind of stand out from the pack. And I think they've done that with this song. I remember listening to this a few times. I was like, holy shit, because they've always done, in their riffing, in their writing, it's unpredictable. They always throw in a few interesting little parts. And that was cool. I just wanted to do like a full song that was kind of like their song. Every band has these songs. I think this could be it for this band. I'm really keen to hear the album when it comes out. But the guitar tone is outstanding. Playing's awesome. And they've always written interesting riffs. The vocals on this are amazing. The chick's got a fantastic voice. And I think the male vocals will complement her voice, and her voice complements his vocals. Melodic solos are amazing. And the close-ups on the music video, that really just amplified what they were doing, because it's cool to listen to, but to be able to see what this band is doing and just see the fingers moving. And I don't know much about drumming, but you get close-ups of that. And considering how intricate some of their riffs are, they're not like shy of sharing what they do. There's no secret.
Yeah.
So I love videos like that, so they can share what they're doing. Because if you got the technical ability to play what they're playing, then cool. But I haven't even tried. But yeah, this is a really cool song. This band's awesome. This is the second single, I think, from this upcoming album. But yeah, I'm really, really keen to hear what they got for this one. So far, so good. Because they've had a bit of a lineup change with the previous album. They changed 2 or 3 members.
They changed on that album, and this is the second album with the revamped lineup.
Yeah, so you had the first album with the new lineup. The second one seems to be when things really gel, when you have massive lineup changes. Because it was 2 or 3 members. I think something special has clicked, so this will be cool to see what else they got.
Yeah, I agree. It's actually the 3rd single. So the album Call of the North is due out on March 10th via Scarlet Records. This song here, for me, having like you followed the band for a while, this feels like, you know how you'd mentioned the lineup change. This feels like the new members bringing in something special of their own into the recipe now. They've brought their own flavors in. This song is a bit different to the rest they've done before. Now, the rest they've done is all good. Like they don't release bad stuff. This is all very, very good. But this is also, not only is this one of their more different songs, it's also one of their more different videos too. It's darker in both visual and the sonics of it all. It's got a heavier overall tone. This one's a little more chunky, a little more chuggier, which I enjoyed that a lot. That change of pace from these guys and the heavier overall weight of it all. It's not like it's a frantic song, but there's just this, they've actually played with tempo, slowed things down a bit and brought more weight by slowing it down. It's a very cool little trick they pulled off on this one. There's a great hook in the chorus. The male and the female vocal harmonies on that part there in particular are really well done. The harmonies are just great. And yeah, they're normally a more melodic, sort of almost symphonic kind of a metal band. And that's where I think Dave was right. And, you want them to do something that makes them sort of stand out a bit more from the pack and be more individual. And this song has the chance to do that. It does leap out from a lot of the other stuff. And the little symphonic touch only comes sort of near toward the end of the song, which is a nice little bit there too. This makes me really curious, having followed these guys since the beginning, about, where they're going with this album. If there's any more tracks like this on the album, it shows a lot of growth to me. Even just having released one song, this shows what they could potentially do in their exploring their, their horizons with the revamped lineup. So very cool. If the album's going to be having, tracks like this, I'm going to be very, very impressed. So that was cool. Thank you for that one, Frozen Crown. And thanks for picking that one, Dave. That's a good choice. Before we get to the next one, more comments. Ryan Roma on YouTube joining us, saying, "Evening Legends, good to see you. Thanks for jumping in there." Andrew Marshall's going, "Oh, there you are. Yes, here we are. We finally got here." Rowan says, "Frozen Crown, I dig this." Yes, it's very cool, isn't it? And Gear, good to see you again, buddy. Hopefully you keep well. Hello from Norway and Viking Queen. The new album, Hail to the King, will come out 24th of March worldwide. The tour will start October, New Zealand, Australia, Papua New Guinea, Japan, India. Fucking awesome, man. Keep us in the loop, please, too. Looking forward to seeing what you got with the album on March. So keep following them too, guys. Alrighty, on to my pick of the week before we get to the... I know people are waiting for Avalanche. It's coming, people. Just give us a few more minutes here. But my song of the week, aside from obviously the debut we're premiering tonight, is from Aussie band Space Goat. It's in the comments, in the description box. Their new song, Earthquakes. Earthquakes is the latest single by Australian alt metal band Space Goat, written by Space Goat, produced, mixed, and mastered by Monolith at Monolith Studios by Chris DeMelco. As it's my pick of the week, I guess I should go first on this one. Now, this is a band we've followed for a while too. I think they've got 2 EPs, if my memory serves me correctly. I'm pretty sure it's 2 EPs. I think 33 and Catharsis are the names. Hope I got that right. But each EP has been really good and different, and the singles they've released around that too have always sort of shown a bit of growth and a point of difference. And this song takes that even a step further for mine. This is a really nice building sort of a song with a really powerful chorus. The video has some cool storytelling in it as well, but the drama and space they've used this time around and the composition in particular was really well done. That mid-song change that they've got on this one, I think it's cool and drives the point home of the song really well. But it's also, for a building song, it's actually catchier than you might expect. That chorus has a knack for getting stuck in your head pretty bloody easily, which I call, and that is in part just to the song itself, but also the emotive delivery. The vocals on this one are really well done, and I love the the emotive conviction that was, given to those vocals. It was really, really good. I love the composition around that, though. Like, everything is serving its part in these songs. The whole thing is just nicely put together. The little guitar layering over the top toward the end was another little bit of icing on the cake. That was a nice little touch there too. Nothing overly flashy, but there's a lot of attention to detail in one song alone, which I thought was really, really enjoyable. It's a bit of a change for him, but nothing too out of the box. But this is another one like Frozen Crown that shows a really good level of organic growth that I just, thoroughly enjoyed. I reckon these guys are doing great things, and I'm excited for what they'll do next. If you like it melodic with heavy riffs, this is a song you should really check out. So please do, and let us know what you think. How'd you go with it, Dave?
Cool. Yeah, this is my first time hearing this band. I think I remember a band called Space Goat. It's an unusual name. I don't think I've heard anything previous, but yeah, this was a cool starting place for me, at least.
Yeah, cool.
This song is really hypnotic. If you like that kind of alternative metal, not really fast, not really aggressive, but really, really dark and really. It's got one of those riffs that you can't help but nod along. It drags you in. It's easy to get caught up in where the story is going.
There's a certain hypnotic quality to it.
Yeah, it really does. Right from the start. And the video really capitalizes that with everyone leaving their houses. And it's just like, okay, where's this going? We're going somewhere. I'm going to get dragged along with this. The vocals are fantastic. They're really subtle in the verses and they rise during the choruses. It's a nice little difference for each one and breaks up the mood. The note choices are fantastic. And that I think you mentioned it in the little change in the middle, it gets kind of quiet and you got those little just notes left to ring. That was really cool mid-ground. I think the song's only like 4 minutes, not even 4 minutes long, but there's a lot that they've packed into that. Really cool song. I really enjoyed it. And the video, I'm going to nerd out because I'm like a movie nerd and shit, but the color scheme on this video, it's fucking beautiful. Really interesting how they divide so many things in the composition of the shot. You have different colors on different sides of the street, or different, like a building being constructed, or like a forest there. So you got different types. It's a massive contrast. I think it's trying to get into the heads of each individual person and what the story is actually telling. So yeah, watch it with that. And then like the attention to detail on that is fantastic because the singer's got dyed green hair, and I think they framed the shot so you got like the really bright blue sky behind it as a sharp contrast because those colors don't usually work together. So it really makes her stand out. And if you just watch it with the color scheme, it puts you in a really interesting mood because colors can evoke certain emotions from the listener. That working in conjunction with the song and the lyrics, really well done all together on all fronts. So this is fucking great. So yeah, lots to enjoy with this.
Cool. There you go. People, worry about my nerding out on audio production. Dave's nerding out on video production. So there we go. There's Dave's little nerd out moment there, which is cool. No, I don't think you've done that before, to be honest. I think that's the first time you've gone into that depth.
Yeah.
In all the years.
Cool. Failed film student back from 20 years ago, but yeah, the composition is outstanding.
Nice, man. That's cool.
That movie Donnie Darko? That's got really intense contrast. It's got really different sharp color schemes and shadows and everything. Just works on that.
Cool. No, awesome. I appreciate that insight. I hope everyone else did too. I thought that was really cool and different. Nicely done there, man. All right. Steve's here. He's going looking fresh, Dave. Fling that hair back again. Just made my night. Good to see you. Do the den.
It's still drying, it's still wet. Fuck.
Yeah. Shotgun Mistress are going, what's going on, you bloody handsome fellas? Well, we're going to get something you're going to be very keen to see in just a moment as well. Terry's jumped in to say, hi, guys. Good to see you as well. Conrad's gone, keen to go to Megadeth with the THRS Gang crew meetup for pre-concert drinks. We'll see who is available and keen to get onto that one as well, which will be a good bit of fun to have out there as well. I might try and tee something up with if people are keen to do something. I mean, I doubt that I'll be able to go, but if we can tee something up, we'll try and tee up something, just on the socials.
Megadeth and Trivium sideshows are much better than having to see fucking Slipknot.
I've got that outtake, Dave, of the TV filming you and I did where you were talking about running from the clowns. So I'll have to release that one day just to really fuck with you.
Photo reject.
All right, so Phil, I see your question here. We'll get to that in a second, but I do want to get to this premiere because everyone's here waiting for it, and we'll knock this one over now. So we have the great pleasure tonight of premiering the brand new track, Sweet Baby Brown Eyes, from the mighty Avalanche. Now, as we go through the motions here, we're going to try and play this song live in the stream, which we haven't done before. If we get nerfed halfway through, we'll come back and see how things go. We'll try and play it. But if not, we'll have a link in the comments. There's a link also in the description box. So I might actually share that link now for those that are keen to check it out. But for just hang on for a second, though, because I'm going to do a bit of a preamble, and then we'll play the song for everyone's enjoyment, and then we'll come back and share our thoughts on it here. But if you're not watching live, this will be cut out at some point on the online stuff. So make sure you hit the link for the video. If you're tuning in, not with us live, you're tuning in via video or audio later on. But here we go. Let's get to the preamble. So Avalanche is part of the great tradition of incomparable pure Oz rock, attracting massive attention on a global scale, and they're back with their new release, Sweet Baby Brown Eyes, a cover of the cult Aussie rock classic by the legendary pub rock band Avalanche, who the band's very own frontman Stephen Campbell's dad Adrian Campbell fronted in the 70s, and from whom the outfit got its name. Recorded at A-Sharp Recording Studios with Grammy-nominated and ARIA Award-winning producer Steve James, Airborne, Sex Pistols, The Angels, Cold Chisel. This is the band's biggest, boldest, and most ambitious release yet. So a big thanks to the band. A big thanks to, what have we got here? Glenn from Shotgun Mistress to help us put this together as well. Thanks to Original Tim for teaming this up too. There's a few people to thank out there for it. But without any further ado, I'll get to the comments and that later on. But for now, I'm going to try something different. And we're going to try and pump this video into the stream. So hopefully you all enjoy it. We're back in a few minutes. Enjoy, folks. There we go. Now I'm unmuted. I had to go through and manually mute microphones just to make sure that things were there. But we're back. We just played that one for everyone. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. That is the brand new single from the mighty Avalanche with their song or their take on Sweet Baby Brown Eyes. We've got a lot of comments to get through in a moment. Obviously, we'll get to those ones. But quickly before we do, Dave, what did you think of the song?
Oh, song's awesome. It's just a toe-tapping, head-banging Aussie rock. Very catchy chorus. Awesome solo. You can't go past the fucking blues pentatonic scale. That shit just is reliable every single time. Dancing chick has beer. How cool is that? That's always good. Video's cool. Song's cool. Band's cool. Fucking great.
Yeah. I don't think we need to go too much in depth of this one. You've all had a chance to watch it now. And if you are watching this or tuning into this one later on, please do hit the link because it will be cut out of the post-production stuff here because I don't want to get a copyright strike on them. But for a live stream, we might be able to get away with it. But yeah, this is exactly what you want from the description of the song and from that. Like, it's a hell of a lot of fun. It's one of those songs that doesn't need to be doing anything complicated. It just needs to be an enjoyable tune. It's got a great hook, very catchy, great energy, all those things you want. A very fun little video for it as well. You know, if you just want a good old-fashioned Aussie pub rock song, that's exactly the kind of right vibe for you. And so they've done a great job putting that one together. And yeah, thanks to everyone involved. That was great fun playing that. I hope everyone enjoyed it. So I'll go to the comments in a second as well. But yeah, thanks to Glenn, the band, original team, all the ones for getting involved and helping us put that together. But I love that's a great, really good. I like the one note I really did make on it is I like how it's got that throwback element to the the 70s kind of vibe of it all, and they've kept that charm in this, revisiting the song. So I thought that it's actually harder to pull off than you think to get that right. Keep the charm of the song, keep the energy there, all that sort of stuff. So I thought they did a really good job doing that. So yeah, well done to everyone involved. And yeah, looking forward to much more from Avalanche in the time to come as well. All right. Comments, and then I'll go back to the question from Philo. So what do we got here? Terry says, hi guys. I said that before. Sally says, no, Dave. I'm not sure what happened there. Sass is here saying, bonk. There we go. Good to see you. Tom says, saying hello, gentlemen from the US. Good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping well over there. Good to have you back with us. Sass is saying, funk song. Awesome. Glad you're enjoying the song. Avalanche, thanks, Ebbs. You're more than welcome. Thanks for allowing us to play that one tonight. Philo says, I thought I heard AC/DC's The Rocker. I like it. Good words there. Rowan says, if you look across the valley in the background, you can see Space Goat singing their song. So, nice little note on the video there. Conrad chimed in saying, he's seen Avalanche several times now. They always deliver the goods live. I've heard very good things. I haven't had a chance to see them live, but I've heard very good things as well. So nice. Thanks for sharing that one. Darren says, old school Aussie rock, fucking awesome. So we're getting more love here. Avalanche obviously enjoyed playing it because we got that one there. Vinny says, I'm sold already with the 351 GT on display. This is music, not that shit they parade throughout the Grammys. Very good point there, Vinny. Thank you. Oh, here we go. More love for the car. Sally says, okay, the Ford gets points. Really like it. Bright, fun, summer sound. I'd go see him. Cool video. I think I recognize that bridge, perhaps. Nicely done. Even though Jeff's in the waiting room, he's going, kick-ass song. This is the type of music that gets the blood pumping. Awesome stuff. Instant fan. Nicely done there. Andrew says, agree with Dave. Loved it. Getting a lot of love here. Vinny says, I'd definitely check him out. Tom says, I thought it was just okay. And that's fair enough, too. Everyone has a different point of view on everything, which is cool. Thanks for sharing that too. Michael says, loved it too. Awesome in live stream. Glad it worked for everyone out there. Like I said, it's the first time I've ever done that. So I'm glad it worked. I'll put it that way. Otherwise, we come off looking like a bunch of idiots. We do anyway. Pasha says, love it. Old school rocks and relates to my growing period 70s. Go forward. There we go. So a lot of love for the car. A lot of love for the song. Thanks everyone involved for enjoying that one. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to premiere another song in the near future as well. But yeah, thank you to everyone for allowing us to do that one. And make sure you check it out. If you missed it, hit the description box. It's there. It is Baby. No, sorry, fucking notes. Come on. Sweet Baby Brown Eyes from Avalanche is the song you're checking out there. So please do get onto that one. All right. Back before I did say we had a question. So I'm going to scroll back here. Philo says, what do you guys think of Danish outfit Merciful Fate? Good question, especially considering I think they're doing some more stuff lately as well, if I'm correct in my recollection there. What do you think, Dave? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I like Merciful Fate. I like King Diamond. He's got an unusual and very interesting voice. Songs are menacing, a lot of fun, early 80s metal. I don't know, they're a unique band, and that's cool. Some have unique bad. This is unique good. And I like Merciful Fate. But yeah, you're right. They have been popping up on some festivals, and King Diamond is doing like dual duty. He does his solo stuff and Merciful Fate as well. So good luck to him. Be a busy night for him.
Yeah. No, I like him. I can't say I've gone as in depth as I would like to. I actually think their debut album has an anniversary this year. I might be wrong on that, but I think going through my release list, they might be on that category of having an anniversary this year. So we may end up doing a sneaky little deep dive into their discography at some point this year. Maybe I can't promise that, but we might see how we go. But no, they're a cool band. What's not to like? I mean, they're an influential band as well. They're probably more influential than people might think. But yeah, like I said, I can't say I'm an expert, but everything I've heard, I've enjoyed. And King Diamond, just as a vocalist, an amazing talent. And I am a big fan of what he does, generally speaking. So yeah, you can't really go wrong. Merciful Fate. So yeah, there's your answer to that one, Philo. Hopefully that gives you the answer you were looking for. There we go. What do we got here? Here we go. Philo says the old riffs was, in my humble opinion, the cradle of metal. There we go. Tom has asked, have you reviewed the new Winder Dogs album? I think it's amazing. Dave, I think you're putting something together for that, aren't you?
Yeah, I will be. Well, spoiler alert, it's fucking great. So yeah, I will be filming a review for that very soon.
Yeah, it'll be coming up. We're doing a new thing called bonus tracks, which will be a way to get all this stuff out there. So we will be doing that one in the near future. So just keep your eyes peeled for that one. Bash says, I heard today via Spotify what I thought was a new song from Heat with Eric back on vocals, and I check it out, and it's a band called Crown. Can you tell me more? Dave, you can, because you chose a song from them on TV, which I think is coming up. No, not this week. Next week. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Crown up in Sweden do sound like Heat, but no, pretty sure it's not Eric on vocals.
It's not.
Could be wrong. No. But yeah, I wasn't sure on the lineup.
Jonah T in it though. I think it's got Jonah T on the keys, which would be where your crossover into Heat comes from. So,
but yeah, if you like Heat, you're gonna like Crown. They got a lot of cool stuff. The song that I picked was I think their newest release, because we did the new music. But yeah, Crown are a cool band.
Yeah, no, I haven't checked out heaps, but that song that I obviously had to watch because I was editing it for TV. That one, yeah, very cool track, very very cool track. So yeah, very keen to hear.
Your album in March or April?
Yeah, March, I think it is. Yeah. I think it's due in March. March is looking like another massive month too. So yeah, there's heaps going on. But yeah, I think Crown is March. I've got March 24 in my head, but I could be wrong. I don't know why I've got it in my head for that one, but I think it might be that date. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. There we go. So Phil says, thank you. That's no problem at all. And Jeff agrees. New Winery Dogs is amazing. I've heard nothing but great things about it. So that is that there. Alrighty, quickly into a bit of a gig plug here. We're going to keep rolling through the motions as we do with these streams now. Next up, gig-wise, we're going to plug here is Sisters Doll, their Kiss Me single launch. There is a link for that in the description box and in the comments now. And here is the spiel for it. So have no plans for Valentine's Day this year? Well, why don't you spend the night with Sisters Doll at the Central Club Hotel in Richmond? Be the first to hear the debut of their brand new single for the first time in a live, intimate acoustic setting. This intimate acoustic show will be a one-off special event you can share with your loved one. However, if you're alone this Valentine's Day, why don't you let Sisters Doll be your Valentine and enjoy a night of acoustic rock and roll? This is a pretty cool spiel. Limited to only 60 tickets, this will be a sit-down dinner and show, which will be a unique concert experience, especially for these guys. They're very energetic. Get your tickets now before they sell out and enjoy an intimate evening with Sisters Doll. There's a schedule there. You've got the dinner and show, which is for an hour. You've got Q&A and dessert for half an hour. You've got a photo session for 45 minutes. The event finishes at 9 p.m., starts at 6 p.m. You get for the ticket, you get a 2-course meal, a drink voucher, the acoustic show, 30-minute Q&A session, a photo with the band, sign exclusive A3 poster, and a VIP lanyard. So it is something a bit different. I think they're actually, I just got a notification on Facebook there. New single is actually out tomorrow as we do this one now. So Friday the 10th it drops. So Kiss Me, the new single from, so if you want to hear the song before you go to the gig, comes out tomorrow. But this gig in particular from memory is actually on Valentine's Day night, which I think is a Tuesday this week. So, yeah, Tuesday, 14th of Feb. So that is the one you want to check out there. It's at the Central Club Hotel. I will try. I can't. Oh, hang on. I don't know how to find tickets and all sorts of stuff. I will see what I'm trying to find here, but I don't know a cost on it. So I apologize for that one in advance. But if that is interesting to you, then go and check it out. It's only 60 tickets, so it wouldn't be much left, I don't think, because they are a very, very popular band. And they do a very, very good job live. I mean, Dave, you and I have both seen them. You've seen them a lot more than I have, but every time we've seen them, they've been fantastic. So the acoustic setting would be a bit different. I would be actually very interested to see how that would go. So yeah, if you
I've only
can,
seen
get on down.
acoustic on live streams that they did over lockdown. They were always
Okay,
entertaining. That they did. They did 2 live streams and just
cool.
interactive and everything. But yeah, they're good. They're really good acoustic. So it'd be a good show.
Talented boys. So yeah, hopefully that goes well for them too. A bit of a different night, but that's going to be a bit of fun. Alrighty. On to this week's hot topic, and there was only we keep wanting to do other ones, but then other stuff comes up, and it's like, no, we have to talk about this one. And this one, I'm gonna do it on my phone here and pull up a photo of a screenshot I took because my fucking god, what a brain fade this was. They've been roasted, and in my opinion, deservedly so. But we'll get into this one now. Cherry Bar, a few days ago, put up a post saying, "Are you in a rock band who can pull 50+ punters to your 30-minute live show? Do you want to play on the famous Cherry Bar stage at one of our 2 a.m. slots on Friday or Saturday nights? If so, reach out to so-and-so and so-and-so." We've had some fun in the chat with this one behind the scenes, Dave, but how about you kick us off? What did you think when you saw this one?
Yeah, half-hour set at 2 a.m. I'm sorry, but your audience is going to be meth heads and homeless people. It's really, you want to get 50 of these people? Fuck. I mean, if you're handing out soup and a fucking blanket, you'll get the homeless people, no doubt. If you want the meth heads who have no interest in music, then maybe not. But seriously, if anything pre-midnight might be worth thinking about.
Yeah.
It's just, I know people want to try new things, but Jesus Christ, have some thought behind it.
Yeah. Keep going, man.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that was pretty much it, but I will try and talk a bit more. But yeah, I don't know what the logic behind this is. I don't know if any bands have applied for this. If it works, then I'd be curious to know if they do get 50 people at 2 a.m. for a 30-minute set. But yeah, I can't see all that many bands being keen to do that.
Now, yeah, it's an interesting one. Sorry, I just have to I've got the 2 dogs, and when there's a glass door between them, it's all good, and there's no problem. But the trouble is that one wants in, one wants out, and if I don't get them both in, it's just it's literally like herding cats. So it's just get the other one in here so things can just settle down over the next few minutes. Yeah, I saw this one, and what was even dumber was how, if you go through the comments on that post, the venue then tried to double down by saying, how many other venues give your band a chance to play at 2 a.m.? And it's like, that's your selling point? They'll pay you to play at 2 a.m.? I mean, yeah, really? Now, I get it. It's a weird time for everyone involved, so on and so forth, but it's just so fucking bizarre. Like, I don't understand it at all. Like, if your band can pull 50 people at 2 a.m, aren't you better off playing a bigger venue and hopefully getting 150, 200 people at 8 o'clock at night? Like, if you're good enough to pull 50 at 2 a.m, I'm pretty sure you can pull a lot more than that at a much more friendly time slot. The other thing for me too on this one is that it kind of shows a relative level of being out of touch with things that they stand now. Dave, you can probably speak to this better than I can, but the financial pressures that people are going through at the moment, especially with rate rises and all that stuff, just constantly happening. The price of living at the moment is relatively high, and so people are trying to scrimp and save where they can. I don't know about you, but going out at 2 a.m, I mean, if you're only going to do that one thing, okay, fine. But really, 2 a.m. is going to be, even for public transport purposes, that's
public transport suck that time of night.
Yeah,
and maybe if you're coming back from something else, but then you'd want to have a lot of your fans coming back from that something else to come and see you if you want that 50 jaw capacity cap or whatever.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's. I don't know if the goth scene in Melbourne is that big, and I don't think the goth scene would be going to Cherry Bar. You might be waking up at midnight, you drink your blood and shit, go to Cherry Bar, see your band. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe there is an audience of widow goth blood drinkers.
Well, the thing is though that if there was a crowd that Cherry Bar was pulling at that time of night, I don't think that post goes up. Not in that wording. They don't, if they had a crowd at 2 a.m, they wouldn't be saying, can you pull 50 people at 2 a.m? They'd be saying, come and play in front of a packed house. We're looking for bands to entertain people. So they're looking for bands to bring people in. And this shows a wider problem for me, in that there's a big disconnect between, and people put it in the comments too in the post, that that there's a big disconnect in how we get people out to gigs these days. Now, if time and finances are tight, then you got to make it worth people's while. And there's a bit, it's two ways. The bands and the venues are both responsible for bringing a crowd to a venue. It's not one or the other. It's both working together. The trouble is, this doesn't sound like anyone working together at all. This just sounds like the venue saying, hey, please bring people to our venue. And it's like, well, that's not going to work at 2 a.m. Not for me. I don't know many people that are going to willingly go out and see a local band at 2 a.m. I just don't. If I'm wrong, load me in the comments. Just tell me that I'm wrong. But I find that one to be a really odd request. And I think venues need to do their bit to make it as appealing as possible for people to come and hang out there, regardless of the band playing it. I think if you get that part right, the band's playing will sort of take care of itself, kind of a thing. But if the venue isn't doing all those things right, then it wouldn't matter if it was a great band playing, because the venue's going to be shit anyway, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not saying Cherry Bar is shit, but I'm saying that, just the ambiance of a room is pretty important with how comfortable you are at a gig or a venue. And if you like a place, you'll go back to it. And if you have a bad experience, you're not going to go back. And I think that's less to do with the band than it is to do with the place itself. The band is a big part of that, but I think it's more to do with the venue being on that side of things. So while I think both have to work together, I think there's a lot to be said about, a venue working its ass off to make it so that you want to go and hang out there regardless of who's playing and whatever time you're open. That would be my point of view personally. I know it's not easy. I know there's no easy fix to that, but I just think that, asking a local band to bring 50 people at 2 a.m. is just a bit out of the fucking realm of, reality for me personally. If I'm wrong, hey, prove me wrong. I would love to be proven wrong. I just don't think it's going to happen week in, week out, 2 nights a week. I just don't think it's going to happen. So that's my take on that. We'll see what people say in the comments now. Here we go. Vinny says, 2 a.m. I'm fucking 49. I'm usually getting up for a piss at best around then. So here we go. Andrew says, if they learn how to do better lighting, I still wouldn't go to a 2 a.m. 30-minute set. Yeah, that's the thing. So it's a 30-minute set, which is like, what the fuck are we getting into here? Philo says, at 2 a.m. goth gig, I'll pass. And Philo, but also says, if you build it, they will come. And that's the mentality I'd like people to take in general here as well. Conrad says, I've been to Cherry at 2 a.m. and seen bands doing that slot. It has been rammed on several occasions. Okay, cool. If people are going, then awesome. I haven't seen it personally, and the commentary I saw when I was reading through it didn't seem overly positive. That was just what I saw about it. So interesting hey, like I said, I would love to be proven wrong. If it can work, great. That's actually a really good thing for everyone involved. Just one of those things that I just didn't feel is as viable as it could be, just generally speaking. I'm getting a lot of messages from Hard Music Oz. Just through the page here. Now, please jump into the comments. It's a lot easier for me to go through comments and just check my phone and get messages. But the comment here is, I'd rather stay in bed and let the dog lick peanut butter off my nuts than go out at 2 a.m. So there we go. And he's also, or they have also asked, have you checked out the debut album, The Fell Tyrant from Brisbane outfit Idle Ruin, came out January 25? No, I haven't checked it out yet. We haven't checked it out. There is a lot of Aussie releases on our list. We do one every week, so we'll get to that one in due course, I promise. That one there. Alrighty, time for a bit of a game. Give us your thoughts as we go along, but we're going to play Would You Rather, and then we're going to get Jeff in here for the Blame Canada round 2 in just a moment. But a quick thing here for Would You Rather, Dave, quick comments here. So, however, paying $20+ on the door after you've already been elsewhere beforehand is a lot to ask from people. If it's free entry and the venue pays the band, keen. Free entry, I think, is a big deal on that one there as well. That would be a big seller. Paying $20 to get in, that's a bit steep. Sally jumped in with saying the whole Cherry Bar pitch for that 2 a.m. time slot, the way the tone of it was, in my opinion, talking down to the bands like they're fucked in their head and I can't see through the schmoozing. It's a two-way street, and that's the only way it works. With today's social fabric and the unavailability of disposable funds, this was just laughable. 30 minutes, I'm out. Nope. The 80s are over, Cherry Bar. Good point. People have a lot of...
not over.
Dave, they are. I know you're in denial, but there are so many ways for people to spend their time. If you're awake at 2 a.m, I don't know if going out to see a 30-minute set from a band is going to be high on your list unless it's a band you're absolutely die-hard fan of. Anyway, keep those thoughts coming. We'll get on to our Would You Rather. ties into last week's hot topic, and that is Aussie's retirement from touring. So the question is pretty straightforward tonight. Would you rather one more good farewell tour from Aussie or 3 more solid studio albums? If you can only choose one or the other, which one do you want? Do you want one more pretty good or awesome farewell tour, or do you want 3 good, solid, or awesome studio albums from the man? And where do you land on that one, Dave?
I'd like 3 more albums. They'll last for my lifetime. I think Aussie's proved everything. I think in where he is now, he should spend his time with his family, doing things he enjoys. I don't think traveling, everything. I think it would be based off the last album, which I loved. If we can have 3 more albums like that, I would be more than happy to have music that will see me into my old age. So I'd go with the 3 more albums.
It's going to be boring, but I'm going to say the same thing, to be honest. I know that there are some people that haven't had a chance to see him live, and there's unfortunately bands for all of us that you'd never get a chance to see live. But I think in the moment in time we're at now, I think Aussie on the stage, I should say, has proven and done everything he possibly ever could. You and I have been fortunate enough to see him live with Black Sabbath. But I just think that, at this point in time, for me, I would rather have 3 more albums, the quality of Ordinary Man or Patient Number 9. I think both those albums are solid. I think Patient Number 9 might be the better of the two, but at the same time, there are people that didn't like it. But I think that 3 more albums of that kind of quality of work that sort of makes you throw back to, the old days of what he's done before and give something new to play with. And I think, if he got back into, I don't know, I just like that idea more. I think, it's more for us to play with. It enhances your legacy, if anything, I think, in my mind, to have more solid studio albums out there. So that's what I would like. And like you said, it lasts a lot longer than a tour. But that said, people will say the memories will last a lifetime. So who knows? But that's the would you rather tonight. We'll have a different game next week. But just would you rather a good farewell tour or 3 more good albums? We'll see what people have to say about that one here. Alrighty. Quickly, Phil says, I'll be 50 tomorrow. Cliff Burton would have been 60. If I get up at 2 a.m. to take a leak, so there we go. There's people getting up 2 in the morning.
For tomorrow, man.
Happy birthday too, by the way, Phil. Enjoy the day. Hope you have a fantastic birthday. Well put, Dave. Tom agrees, says 3 more albums. I can't get over how old he looks. He's in a Super Bowl commercial with Paul Stanley and Joan Jett. He looks ancient. You shared that in the chat today, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. What's it like? I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, you just see all these Rockies. Billy Idol's in it as well. Aussie.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I won't spoil it for you too much, but give it a watch. It's a minute. Yeah.
No, I'll be watching the Super Bowl on Monday, so I'm sure I'll see it then anyway. Philo says, thank you. The Chiefs are in it, so I'm going to be watching. I'm taking the day off work, so I'm going to stay home or go somewhere and watch that game live. Alrighty, let's do it. Let's get the great man in here. Let's bring Jeff into the stream. How are we going, good sir?
How you doing, guys?
Good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, very well, thanks.
You're still a ghost.
I'm still. I'm just gonna have to wear that. I don't know why.
Oh, good. Jeff the friendly ghost.
Jeff the friendly ghost. Casper. You call me Casper.
Canadian Casper.
It's funny because my father, his nickname was Casper for a while.
Oh,
fuck it worked.
Well, there you go. So many years ago, he played in what they called back then. He played in what was called the Negro League. My father was a baseball pitcher.
Wow.
And so he was the only white guy on the team. He played for the Sioux City, Iowa Ghosts, and his nickname was Casper. And then he was actually drafted for the Cleveland Indians.
Nice.
He went to the farm team, but long story, I'm not going to get into it. But he didn't end up playing for them, unfortunately.
Still even getting to the farm team's pretty good, man.
Yeah. He was a good pitcher, apparently. I never saw him pitch, really, because this was in 59. I was born in late 60s. I won't say when. It's funny, Dave, you said you were 43.
I knew you'd bring this up. Yeah.
I got 10 years on you, lad. Yeah. I was in grade 4 when you were just a sperm, Yeah. Sorry,
I don't want to think about that journey I made at that time, man.
You did a pretty good job. Look what happened. It's a long journey. Yeah. Anyway, so I was going to say that question, the Aussie question.
Yeah.
I want to do the Taco Bell thing. Why not have both?
Yeah,
I love that. Why not
because
put
that's not
3
the
albums out
game.
and tour?
Yeah.
I know it's not the game, but it's not a perfect world. But that would be
No.
fantastic. I would love to see him one more time, because I know that's what he wants, right?
Yeah,
He
okay.
wants to
Good
tour.
point.
This is killing him to not being able to tour. So hopefully
Yeah.
he gets some residency thing happening. But yeah, 3 more albums like Patient Number 9. Oh man,
Yeah.
could only dream.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. Yeah.
And your theory last week ended up being not so far from reality in the end.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it was just a theory,
Hmm.
but he did it, and yeah. I mean, maybe he was always going to do it. Who knows? But
Yeah.
we all know what sort of business person Sharon is, and so I wouldn't have put it past her to say, announce it now, and maybe we'll get a sympathy vote going into the Grammys. Who knows?
Either way, it's a nice tip of the hat to him to finally get that nod. So
absolutely.
regardless, I put up the post on the day and said, whatever you think of the Grammys, at least there's something there for people to hang their hat on, or for Aussie to hang his hat on. So I think that's a nice little addition to the long and storied career path that he's had today, and hopefully we'll get more out of that one.
Yeah, I hope this is not the end. I mean, but if it is, it's a great way. Number 1 album and win 2 Grammys.
Yeah,
not too many people can say, "Well, on the way out, that's what I did."
Yeah, that would be, if you wanted to end it. If you had a chance to end it that way, I think you'd take it. If you wake up one day and say that's how you're going to go out, okay, cool. Let's hope not, obviously, but
no, exactly, yeah.
But as far as potential endings go, that's pretty special. So that was
storybook ending,
it's very, very cool. We do have more comments on that one too. So Darren said, never seen Aussie live, so I'd go with that, which is cool. Villo says, seen Billy Idol twice, Steve Stevens playing as a trip. That's cool. Vinny says the ghost of Jeff, which is, there we go again. And Darren says Casper's back. Sally says, hey Jeff. We got the love there going for it. Andrew says, despite being one of the few that hasn't seen him live, I prefer 3 albums on par with Patient 9. My kid's sister turns 60 this month, so I'm old. So there we go. Rightio. Mal says, Jeff sporting the Canadian suntan. There we go. And I thought I was the white boy in this show.
I need some vitamin E. Definitely some vitamin E.
Yeah. Vinny says, charge your proton packs, gang, but don't cross the streams. There we go. Phil says, like a gnarly little leather Quasimodo. Okay. That'll be back to seeing Steve Stevens, I think. Basher says, Jeff, was great not seeing you last week. Enjoyed your stories and look forward to today's stories, theories, and reviews. This is why you watch.
Where is it? There's the great man. Can you know who that
Yes.
is?
Ready.
Well,
that's it.
There we go. Alrighty, let's get stuck into this one. I'm going to put a couple of links into the description. It's in the description box. There'll be a couple of links in the comments now. What do we got here? So we got Kick-Axe with On the Road to Rock and Lee Aaron with Metal Queen. Those are your two sort of reference tracks as we go through these 2 albums. Basically, this is the King of the Riff Blame Canada edition. This is round 2 this week. This is the 7th seed with Kick-Axe versus the 10th seed, Lee Aaron Metal Queen. So 7 versus 10. The winner of this goes on to the next round. The loser goes home and with the tail between the legs. Both albums were released in 1984. Vices is the debut album, while Metal Queen is the sophomore release. They both are 10 tracks. One is 42 minutes. The other one is 40 minutes. They're both closely sort of matched here as well. But we'll go Dave first, and then we'll get Jeff afterward to share a bunch of stories. I know he's seen Lee Aaron live, so I'm sure there's some background to this one as well. But Dave, give us your thoughts first.
Yeah, both of these albums have that rock vibe of the 80s that I love. Both are from 1984. Both are fun, energetic rock songs about rocking. And a casual listen, you might think it's just dumb fun, but with each subsequent listen, and I got more familiar with these songs, I realized there's a lot more substance in these lyrics than you would initially think, especially from this era of rock. Especially the Lee Aaron album. I'll get to that soon.
Yeah.
Of course, not every song is serious. It's rock and roll. It should be fun. But a couple of songs just touched on a little bit more substance. The musicianship is great. Performances are great in both albums. With each listen, shifting back and forth, which one I should go with. I listen to one. Yeah, this is cool. Listen to the next. This is really good too. Go back. Yeah. Fuck, this one was hard. Kick-Axe, everything you expect from the 80s. You've got the big sounding drums, big riffs, big vocals, big production. It's energetic, it's fun. You got anthems like Heavy Metal Shuffle and power ballads like Dreaming About You. What's not to like? And there's the song Alive and Kicking, which I thought they were saying I like fried chicken. But I like fried chicken, so if you want to write a song about that, that's cool with me.
Dave, this wasn't Queen One Vision, all right?
I know, I like that song too. But Alive and Kicking, I like fried chicken. It's cool. The Lee Aaron album, I got some Priest vibes in the chord progressions, especially in some of the more slower ones. It kind of reminded me of Love Bites, stuff like that. It's a very diverse album filled with songs ranging from metal through to rock, and she has a great rock voice. There's one song on that album that really got my attention. That's Still Away Your Love. Yeah, I'm like listening to it in the lyrics. I'm like, holy shit! I had to go back and I check the lyrics. And like, okay, we're going there.
And that song came out, which is mind blowing.
Yeah, I'm like, wow. I'm just that just amazed me that she went to this place and tackled this subject, and it was really exceptionally well done. And I'm glad she had the courage to do a song like this. I don't know how it was received by a lot of people at the time or what the reaction was, but I thought it was fucking great. And it's perfectly paced in the album too. You got the opening, the fun songs, the rock songs. You leave on a high, and you get this one song in the middle. It's just like, holy shit, this is really good.
It's a sneaky song too, because the hook in the chorus is good, but then it sucks you into dive into the lyrics. Like, oh, hang on.
Yeah, you listen to you hear it, and you hear the vocals. It's like, okay, and going through, fuck, okay. Then I went back to the Kick-Axe album. I'm like, fuck, this is really good too. I'm loving this album. It's just, it was really, really hard to pick which one I wanted to go through. And in the end, first time I've done this for one of these battles, I tossed a coin. So Kick-Axe win.
Wow.
Yeah. I really could not decide. Both of these albums were fantastic. So toss the coin and Kick-Axe get the win.
All right. So it's Kick-Axe for Dave. Okay. Cool. Now, make sure you give us your thoughts. Sorry?
If you haven't heard these albums, give both a listen. It's very, very good stuff on these.
I agree with that. Just, make sure you give us your thoughts on which one you think wins and why. We've got some comments coming through already, but we'll get to those toward the end of things there. But I want Jeff to chime in now with his 2 cents, because the whole Canadian thing is Jeff's brainchild, and so we got to get him in to give us his thoughts on these 2 albums. So which way did you land on this one, mate?
Well, I hadn't listened to either album in years, to be honest, in all fairness. I've listened to Metal Queen on and off, just the song from Lee Aaron over the years, and I've always loved that song. It's just a great song. However, Kick-Axe, while I remember them quite fondly at the time, I was 15, right, when the album came out. So, 15-year-old Jeff likes a lot of shit music that this Jeff doesn't like anymore. So when I was listening to this, because I knew that this thing was coming up, right, I thought, well, look, I'll be fair. I'm not just going to go off memory. I'm going to listen to them. Yeah. And now, to be fair, I listened to Kick-Axe first. And so the standout tracks for me were On the Road to Rock and Just Passing Through. I thought those 2 tracks I thought were pretty good. The first track, Heavy Metal Shuffle, I'm like, any song's got fucking heavy metal in the words, that's a fucking skip. You're just gonna skip heavy metal. Come on.
You're just praised heavy metal. That's a fucking metal song.
I know, but come on, really. Okay,
to be fair, in my opinion, just to throw it in here, both albums have pretty fucking good opening tracks for mine. I enjoy the way.
Yeah.
Halloween, Heavy Metal Hamsters.
Yeah, but was that on like Pink
Bubbles going fucking right.
Yeah, come on. All right.
No bad chameleon.
No. So I listened to it, and then I started to remember some things, and I actually Googled some things and about Kick-Axe. So they were actually another band before they became Kick-Axe, and they were known as Spectre General.
Yeah.
Okay. And Spectre General wrote 2 songs that they never recorded as Kick-Axe. So for me, and these are the 2 best songs that they never released.
Oh, wow.
So they were released, but they were released on the Transformers, the movie soundtrack, 1986. So if anyone saw the original Transformers movie, Kick-Axe had 2 songs, but they were known as Spectre General. Okay.
That's going back.
And the big song that they never released was a song called Hunger, which was covered by King Cobra. Do you remember that song?
Yeah.
I hear crickets now. What crickets?
Yeah.
No, you guys you don't know that song? Okay. Because Hunger is a great fucking song, and King Cobra released it in '86 off their debut, I believe. So King Cobra had Carmen Apiece on drums, Mick Sweet on Johnny Rod, the one eventually went to Wasp, was their bass player.
Yep.
Yeah, just a great song called Hunger. So check out, both versions are good. I actually think King Cobra's the cover is better than the original, but check out the and there's another song there called I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget. I can't remember. Oh well, I can't even read my own writing. Yeah,
Sounds
doesn't
like
matter. Yeah, you're right. Scratch it down in a heartbeat. I did it last night, so I went to like 12:30 before I went to bed. I'm like, I gotta get this stuff done. So Kick Axe. I found myself wanting for the album to be over. I was like, come on, fucking please, just get over with.
Wow.
I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It's like it's good for 15-year-old, 14-year-old kids, but for me, I don't know. Maybe I'm just old, grumpy old fuck. I don't know. That's probably go with that. And then there's Lee Aaron, right? So Lee Aaron, Metal Queen. I put it on, and immediately I was taken back. Like, boom, I was there. Yeah. And I listened to the whole album, and there's a few songs that I thought were a bit, sure. She was trying to write. You probably noticed this, Dave. You could tell she was trying to write a hit song. There was some stuff on there that wasn't quite metal, wasn't quite pop. It was somewhere in between, and it looked like she
Shake
It Up.
Shake It Up was one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's Steal Away Your Love. I wrote this down because I'm like, what? I'm not going to mention the topic. Anyone just needs to read the lyrics.
Yeah.
Listen, it's a great song. And the fact that she did it was very tasteful. And it was definitely a highlight. There was a bunch of songs. So obviously Metal Queen, Lady of the Darkest Night, Got to Be the One, and Deceiver, all great songs. But I think the latter half of the album started to this is where she was trying to like write the pop, the hit, trying to get on the radio. And it's ironic because years later she would have some really huge hits. I mean, I don't know if you guys know her career.
Not
she had a really big hit on an album called Body Talk. I think it was called What You Do to My Body. It was just a huge hit. Video was playing constantly, all that stuff, right? And Dave, now this is going to be interesting. So I've seen Lee Aaron. Okay, obviously I saw her. This was the very first concert I ever went to in my life because she was playing at the arena that I lived like just across the street from. And I snuck in. I went down the alleyway in between, and the door was open a crack. Someone opened a crack, and I went in.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. So,
cool.
So that was awesome, right? First concert ever. And I would have maybe just turned 15. So
yeah, cool.
I was pretty young. But so she was actually very good friends with James LaBrie. Right. And she was friends with James LaBrie, and she knew that Dream Theater was looking for a new singer, and she secretly sent the tape of Winter Rose to Dream Theater, and they loved it, and they got in contact with him, and the rest is history. So if she hadn't have done that, he never would have done it. In fact, she told him they were looking for a singer, and he's like, I'm not interested.
Wow.
True story.
Wow.
Yep. So you have Lee Aaron to thank for James LaBrie bringing in Dream Theater.
Wow.
And Oh yeah. So you learn something new. I know you love James LaBrie. You're a big fan.
Yeah. Winter Rose album is actually really good.
Yeah, it is. And I saw them as well. I saw them years later. It would have been like 88 or something like that. And they opened up for a band in Canada, a fairly big artist. The guy's name is Lawrence Gowan, and you guys wouldn't know. He had a really big hit with a song called Criminal Mind. It's fantastic. So if anyone's out there wants to check out something really cool from Canada, check that out. But yeah, they opened up for him, and one thing I remember, that they had this, they had a bass player, and I remember because it was weird. I didn't know what at the time, but this bass player had like, it was like a 12-string bass. I'm like,
Wow.
what the fuck is that? I didn't even know what it was. I was like, I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Don't see it now.
Yeah, exactly. And it just stood up in my mind. I can still remember, bits and pieces. This is a long time, but
Yeah.
I remember the Lee Aaron much better because being my first concert ever, sneaking in, all that stuff. Like I said, I would have been 15 and couldn't afford it if I'd wanted to. I had a paper route and made like, $5 a month or something.
Yeah.
I was, back in those days, so but yeah, so look, if I had to, I actually rated the albums. Kick Axe for me gets a 5 out of 10. It's average to me now. To 14 and 15-year-old Jeff, it would have been a 9. I would have loved it. I remember singing it and playing it with my ghetto blaster and all that shit. Lee Aaron, though, I gave her 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I just think it's a better written album. The guitars and the harmonies are fantastic. And she stuck with that guitar player that was there pretty much from the beginning. She stuck.
Cool.
I think Lee Aaron's first album was called the Lee Aaron Project.
Okay. Yep.
And as it happens, like we were both from the same town. She was born in my hometown.
Cool.
So when she was playing there, she was playing to a hometown crowd.
Nice.
So that's a place called Belleville, Ontario, Canada.
Yep.
And that's where I'm from. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, I give it to Lee Aaron just by a pinch, but yeah.
Nice.
Maybe,
it's funny.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It's good. That's why we get you in here, because you got all the stories for these ones, which is the best part. But for me, it's one of those ones where I'm finding this whole experience to be a whole lot of fun, because the albums that have been chosen by the audience polling aren't albums that I'm super familiar with. Like some I am, but the early rounds in particular, I'm like, I've not heard these ones really. I've heard bits and pieces, but not actually sat down going through the albums like we are for this. And they're all good. Like, I actually think these early rounds are harder than the one we did last year, Dave, where we had the battle of the 50-year-olds. I think these early rounds are actually more challenging. It's harder to pick a winner, whereas I think last time around it was much more sort of clear cut for us all. Yeah. So both of these albums, while I understand the critiques on both sides, I think they're both very good and both entertaining. And to be honest, at the end of the day, I would have been happy with either one sort of getting through to the next round. But, so for example, Heavy Metal Shuffle, I know that, Jeff ripped on that sort of stuff a few minutes ago, but I thought it set the tone nicely for the album overall. It sets the tone for that album. Old school, slightly harsh, got all you want from a vintage album in that style. That one has great attack and great riffs on it. There's still plenty of melody, but there's some really cool flash in the lead guitar work as well on that one. And the title track is the second track, and like a few others, time has really stamped that one and dates it a little harshly. I think that out of the two albums, the Kick Axe one sort of suffers more over the years than the Lee Aaron one does. They both have their drawbacks because of aging over the time, but I think that for Kick Axe, it's probably a bit more noticeable. The funny thing, I made a note here, the track Stay on Top from Kick Axe, that felt like Vince Neil doing a Vince Neil before it was cool. Like there's more scat than lyrics on that song. I'm convinced. I might be wrong, but I'm like, what the fuck is going on with that? You got Dream About You was a good ballad. You got Man Eater, which is another cool track, though. I did like that one. That was a good one. The whole album is a bit rough around the edges, but for that style of music, a bit more. It's a debut album in 84. Like, it is just what it is. And there's some good depth. The occasional use of synth on that was a nice little touch on that album, too. It's just got fucking great riffs all over it. It's not perfect, but it's a lot of fun. And it's a solid album that I think the high spots are really high on it, but the low spots are kind of like, ooh, okay. But, but at the same time, like I said, it's a debut album, 84. It still is a lot of fun to listen to that. Like, both of these albums, I got to stress, I enjoyed them quite a lot. I thought they were both a lot of fun to listen to. I wasn't quite like Jeff waiting for one to end, but there was one for me that was, that's fair enough, though. Like, Dave and I both said, fuck, I couldn't wait for that album to be over before about other ones before. Like, it's not the first time that's been said on the show. Yeah. But then you switch over to Lee Aaron, because it listened to Kick Axe first. And then Lee Aaron is just, I think vocally, right from the opening note, you just get this big Doro feel about her. So if you're familiar with Doro or you like Doro stuff, you're going to love this album. Listen to Warlock or Doro, then you're going to really get a kick out. There's something about that just feels right. I think Lee Aaron's like a cross between Doro and Dio, if that makes any sense. Like a weird cross between those two as a vocalist. Like that, to me, is like a cool reference point. I'm a fan of both. So I was like, okay, cool. That works for me.
Like a compliment, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it's worth it, though. I think the vocals are fucking strong enough for that. There's another album straight out of the early 80s. You can feel it straight away, but this one sounds warmer, richer. It's a second album. There's some success with the first one, so they spent a bit more on this one, so you can hear the difference in the budget of it. There's a lot of maturity in these song topics. It's darker. There's some flash in these songs. Lady of the Darkest Night is an example for me that there's some 80s cheese in that one, but it still holds up really well. And the storytelling, the drama building and that sort of in songs like that was just fantastic for mine. Great tempo changes across the album, kept moving. She's the star of the show on this one, but whereas Kick-Axe was like it's a gang experience kind of thing. You can feel the whole energy from the whole group. This one here, it's like here's Lee Aaron up front, but the rest of the band is like a complementary piece, and everyone's serving the role incredibly well in it. And they do a very, very, very good job on all these songs. Great things like little vocal layering on tracks like Deceiver. It's big and punchy in all the right ways, that album. Steal Away Your Love. Now, again, I'm not going to go into what it's about. I think, that's trigger warning territory for people out there these days. You can go and look it up. Now, it's confronting but tasteful. It's worth the price of entry alone, that song. It's such a powerful piece of work that I was blown away when you dig into it. This was released in 1984 from a Canadian artist. It's just like fucking well done. Like credit where due for having the balls to release a song like that. When you try to, like, there are other songs that we touched on that, they're trying to cut through and make radio friendly songs and get on the radio and make the big moves, but they still had the guts to put that song on there. And everyone that was involved in this one, the guts to back it in and put it on there. And so I thought, well done. It's tasteful. It's well done. It's confronting, but in an intelligent way. And it makes everyone think about just what's going on. It was a very, very good, well done song. And yeah, like I was saying before, all in all, these are challenging early rounds. But for me, this one, this contest delivered the goods, but I'm going to go with the more rounded and mature album for me. I know that last week I was the contrarian, Dave. This week you're the contrarian because I'm going to go with Lee Aaron as well. I'd have been happy with either, to be honest, but Lee Aaron, for me, gets the win this week. So that album will move on to next week's one there. So Lee Aaron takes the win this week with Metal Queen. So we'll be back with that album again in a few weeks to give it another round again. Who would I put that? Hang on, I can actually quickly. I'll lose my notes if I do and check that. But yeah, that will be up against another contender that's been chosen by the audience in a few weeks, just to see if it goes through to the next round. But yeah, that was again both really cool albums. So happy to listen to both all the time. But yeah, Lee Aaron was just that head above, just on the maturity and the overall craft from top to bottom on that one for me.
She kicked axe.
Yeah. You were sitting on that one, weren't you? It's fantastic. Here we go. Yeah. All right. I'll go to some comments quickly before we move on. But yeah, Philo says, hey, it's the quiet riot guy. Vinny says, watching Kick-Axe for me answers the question of what happened to the kids from Degrassi Junior High. Oh, well done. Rowan says, I've never heard of either of these bands, but I gave them each a couple of listens this week and they were excellent. There we go. TC jumped in to say, sorry guys, I couldn't jump in for this one, but you do what you can, man. We all know that. I hope you pick the winner in the comments later on. We'll see. Rowan says, I've got very early Queensryche vibes at times with Lee Aaron album and very early Slaughter and TNT vibes throughout the Kick-Axe album. Nice compliments there. Here we go. Philo's got a trivia for us. Did you know that Randy Rhoads' star on the Hollywood Boulevard was initially spelled wrong? I did not know that. But it doesn't surprise me when you think about it.
I knew that, yeah. How can they fuck that up? I mean, this was televised.
These people always fuck these things up. They're the people that can't even get the in memoriam sections right on their fucking show. So
his mother was there, and they handed the plaque, and it's spelt fucking wrong. I felt,
that's bad. I didn't know. That's fucking bad. You can't do that. Fucking pull your finger out, people. Not hard to check these things. That's the thing. It's not hard to check.
No.
That's just a lack of care. Just shows a complete lack of care. What else we got here? Rowan says, which one wins? From 2 listens, I couldn't split them. It's challenging when you think about it. TC says, sorry, I can jump in. Gave Lee Aaron a first-time listen. It was pleasantly surprised how good it was, but I have to stick with Kick-Axe for this. It's a killer album. So I got one for Kick-Axe in the comments there too, which is cool. TC did pick a winner for us in the end, which is good. Thanks for that. Darren says, I picked Kick-Axe in the short video, but after listening to both back-to-back today, it has to be Lee Aaron. What a voice, and the band is fantastic. So there we go. We did get some converts as we go through this one as well. Mal says, had Metal Queen on my Rock Hard 84 compilation album, also featured Canada's April Wine. A lot of people did talk about April Wine.
April Wine are good.
Yeah, they didn't make the cut for this one. Just a spoiler alert. They didn't make the cut for the top 10 albums, but they did get a lot of love beforehand. Finney says, some folk watching this stream may still have been a sperm when you were listening to shit music at 15, Jeff, so you're excused. TC says, John Farnham also sang the song Nothing's Gonna Stand in Our Way on the Savage Street soundtrack. He's done some good stuff on that front as well, John Farnham has. Vinny says, Hunger is a bloody fantastic song. In fact, the majority of that Transformers animated movie in 86 is Killer with Vince DiCola. Yes, it's a good fucking movie. Good soundtrack too. Nicola says, I'm not keen on female vocalists in metal, but Lee Aaron rocks. There we go. Got some love for Lee Aaron there. Labrie, Queen's Right Connection. There we go. Phil says Lee Aaron was hot. Well, yeah, I don't think you get any disagreement there from anyone there.
Still is.
Yeah, doing pretty well. Jolie says, hi guys, good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Nice to have your company with us. Nicole says, nice comparison. Thank you. I did try to put that one out there. Sally says, sorry if I have to pick. It's Kick-Axe. I'm old and love Doro, but this was not easy to listen to for me, either of them. Okay, well, there you go. At least we enjoyed both. Some people didn't enjoy either, so there we go. Hopefully next week's one's a bit better for you, Sally. And Phyllis says, April Wine, ain't heard that name in 30 years. Yeah, it's one of those ones that seems to sneak under the radar a bit, but everyone that talks about them loves them. I can't say I've heard much, but
I've seen them too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have.
This is why we got you here for this one. Here we go. Darren said the same thing. Aaron is still smoking.
Exactly.
So there we go.
She is still smoking. She's 60 and she looks great.
Yep. Vinny says Canada producing good sperm. Clearly. And TC says I'm flying to the other song Kick-Axe did as Spectre General and Transformers soundtrack. Okay, cool. There we go. I'd love to go and check out that soundtrack, I reckon. That'd be another special at some point. Cool soundtracks.
Really good soundtrack.
Andrew says, I think I was listening to shit music when Jeff was a sperm. So there we go.
Spelled my name wrong, punk. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
G off. It's Jeff, man. It's phonetically perfect.
And Anvil. Anvil always get a lot of love on these ones as well. Bit of fun there. All right. Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to sort of jump in there with, Jeff? JEFF. I'll get your name right for.
Well, Jeff. Technically, G off, like Jeff, with the spell with the G. That came first, but because it doesn't sound like the way it's spelled, my name evolved. So Jeff. I think it's a very American thing, Jeff, even though I'm not American.
Yeah, well.
Not American. I love America.
No, that is a thing.
There. I'm just not from there, that's all.
From people from different regions and that, they get very selective at what they're
I've got nothing wrong. I love Americans. I think, I've got, I had an aunt, an aunt, as you guys say here, because an ant's a little thing that crawls in the ground. I get it. But my mother's sister lived in America. So
I think people got the point.
Anyway, my aunt, what crawls on the ground too.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, what we got? More text.
Philo has spelt your name wrong as well, but do you like hockey? And I think we both know the answer to that one.
I used to play hockey. Do I like it? No, I can't stand it. That's why I played it. No, I love hockey. It's probably, aside from music, it's one of my other passions. Still watch it. I know, Andrew, I know your team, Calgary Flames.
Yep.
Sort of against, I've got two teams that I barrack for, if you want to say that.
Yep.
The Red
One
Wings.
from each side.
Yeah, Red Wings and the Oilers. So, but I've been an Oilers fan back to when Gretzky played, because he was my hero.
Yeah.
One of these days I'll wear my Gretzky Oilers shirt on if I ever come back on this show again. I don't want to assume. I don't want to assume, right? Because that's just a you
Nah,
make an
you can do
ass
what
out of
you
you
want.
and me, right?
Yeah.
We're going to kick you out for the grand final of this playing Canada thing. You're going to get all the way there, then fuck off. We don't want you anymore.
It's anything's possible. Anything's possible. No, I do.
Nah.
I love hockey. I love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
it's a fun sport.
Yeah,
I,
it is
I
fun.
enjoy it as well. My daughter and I are both into it, so it's a lot of fun. But
Calgary?
sorry.
Is she Calgary fan?
Yeah. She actually reached out. She was getting into it because she was talking to someone at work. She's like, "Okay, what team should I follow?" And you can always follow the same team that I follow. And then from there, we've bonded even more over that sort of thing too. So as she's gotten older, it's been one of those fun things to sort of, it's a new thing. It's always good to find new things with your kids to sort of explore and enjoy together. So
yeah, that's right.
we've gone to Melbourne games here. Like we both follow Melbourne Mustangs in the Melbourne or the Australian League. So gone to a couple of games there and stuff. And we both try to keep up to date with the Flames over there. And that's just that's how we like to do it. And we had a good year last year. It's a bit of a rockier road this year, but again had a pretty big turnover of star talent. So it's always going to be a bit tougher the next year. But is what it is. But it's fun.
How'd you get into loving hockey? I mean, it's not. Do you just like them because it's the coolest sport on earth? Get it? It's the coolest sport.
You're funny. No, actually, because I have this weird thing where I'm a big fan of American sports. I like Australian sports. So I grew up around Aussie rules and cricket. My dad was heavily involved in the AFL. So I would go exploring for different things that weren't what I was always exposed to. Because I always go to the AFL every weekend or VFL back then anyways. And it was always a big thing. But once I saw Don Lane in the late 80s, early 90s, and there was, he was doing the NFL game of the week kind of thing. And I saw, the game where Montana beat, Young when it was the Chiefs versus the 49ers. That made me a Chiefs fan for life watching that game. Going back, I think it was 91, I think that was. And so from there, I kept trying to find links just to see where other teams would. Ice hockey was always fascinating to me. I remember playing on the Nintendo game years ago with a mate in school, and just things like that. But doing that sort of stuff was always fun, and it was always a different sport as well. I always liked the differences of those sports, and so I settled on Calgary because they actually had this thing where they had like a weird lower league sister team kind of thing in the same region as the Kansas City Chiefs. So I always sort of try to balance things out in that regard. So that's how I settled on Calgary, and I just got into ice hockey because I was always exploring different sports overseas, and then I love sport in general. I grew up around it, so it's one of those things. Music is my big passion. Sports, literature, those sorts of things are other things that I enjoy as well. So there's a bit of things out there. I did a lot of martial arts when I was a kid. Didn't play a lot of sport. Did a lot of martial arts instead. So anything that's combative gets my attention, kind of thing. Nice. That's where
there's an old saying in hockey is I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out.
But
it's interesting. The Calgary Flames. So do you know who they originally were before they became the Calgary Flames?
I know they weren't. I forget. I know it's in the back of my head, but I can't recall it right now. But I know it's.
They were the Atlanta Flames. They were in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
And then they lost the rights, which happens. Teams lose. They can't get the crowds or whatever. So. They were looking to expand the league up in Canada, add another Canadian team, and Calgary got it. So they became, and sometimes they'll play, and you'll see on their shirt they'll have an A with Flames. If you ever see it, they have an alternate jersey because it's commemorative of the Atlanta Flames. Yeah.
Yeah, and they rebranded the Wranglers, the feeder, the farm team this year as well. A few, which is a throwback to the Wranglers. That's of old. They threw back to that name. They had to go and get the trademark for that board out. So they're leaning into the history more this year, which is cool as well for mine. I think it's good when they embrace that sort of stuff. Personally, yeah. Dave's sitting there going, "I'm bored out of my fucking mind," because he.
Hockey.
If it's not wrestling, he's not interested. If it's not music, but no, it's just.
There's a Calgary connection to wrestling there. The Calgary Hitmen and Bret Hart. What team do you think they go for, Dave? The Flames.
Yeah. What they do? I just want to see them wrestle.
Yeah, well, I know they do. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I know Bret Hart was a big hockey fan. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. You should watch a game or two. It's fun.
Yeah,
You know,
I
see,
remember back in fucking high school, we had to play sport, and we played hockey once, and I smacked someone in the face with a hockey stick, so I felt bad about that.
yeah, but that would have been like field hockey, like those little sticks. You get hit
It was
with
in
them.
the hall. We were just running around the school hall with the fucking
Oh,
hockey stick,
wow.
smacking the puck. I used to love hitting things. Like same when we played baseball or softball. I like hitting the ball. Couldn't catch worse shit, but I like hitting things. And so I missed the puck and hit this guy right in the face.
Surprised you become a
Nice.
drummer or something.
Yeah. He picked up the guitar because it's called an axe, and he likes hitting things.
There you go. Oh, chopping things down.
Yeah, there we go. Chop wood. But no, it's one of those funny things. But yeah, hockey is the fun thing about hockey is it's actually pretty simple to understand, especially if you grow up around Aussie rules football. The rules in hockey are pretty fucking straightforward. It's not that complicated a game.
That's right.
It's literally who's better at the end of the day. It's really a good contest. There's not much gray area in the rules. I mean, there always is, but out of all the sports, it's one of the less gray area ones out there. So it makes it more enjoyable to watch because you can just see it. It's like, okay, yeah, whatever, I'll take
Well,
that.
it's funny you should say, because like in the mid to late 90s, there was a lot of controversy about hockey, because hockey, when Gretzky was signed by the Los Angeles Kings.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he went down to the States, right? He went to the Los Angeles Kings from the Oilers, and so all of a sudden hockey was just exploding in the States everywhere, right? But there was a lot of Americans that didn't grow up watching it. They were having a hard time following the puck. So Fox Sports, they developed this special like a laser thing that would, when they shot the puck, you could see like lasers going across the screen.
It's like watching cats play with stuff.
Yes, there's absolutely, you can watch games from that era. You can Google it.
Wow.
So this was an attempt not only to make it easier to follow the puck, because they were having a hard time, but it made it look more like a video game as well. It was really cool. This is like, say, 95 to about 97, and it just died in the ass. It was just like, it was such a terrible idea.
That's not good.
No. So you might get a lot of people watching it who wouldn't normally watch hockey, but all the people who loved hockey would just fucking turn it off. I'm not watching this shit, you know. And so so it died. But yeah, sorry, I've done the hijack and taken it in another direction.
People watched a stream and a hockey game broke out.
There we go. That's a good analogy. That's a good analogy. It's really good.
Let's go to some comments. Here we go. Rowan says, next week's challenge, name 10 rock metal bands that Jeff hasn't seen live.
I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
You know what? I have the concert tickets for most of them still. So if anyone does,
I know one. Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
That. Yeah, we covered that off the other week. Actually, no, top 10s. Top 10s?
I love Guns N' Roses so much. I gave my ticket away. That's how much I love them. Jeff so much loved the world that he died for his sins. Yeah. So yeah.
Dave's mortified right now.
Whoa. All right.
Dave's going to be the Cain to your Abel at this rate. For those that understand biblical history. Vinny says Jeff identifies as Jeff for you woke folk.
That's right. Trailer trash.
Andrew says, apologies, I just guessed we have Jeff and Jeff in Oz. Seriously. Philo says, love hockey, up all night every night to watch NHL. Cool. Vinny says, love the Kings. They're finally producing results again. Nice. So here we go. We're getting a lot of love for this. Tom says, hockey is the best. Go Bruins. Andrew says, Gretzky was a god. Philo says, played 12 years as a kid, young man. There's under 20 rinks in the whole of Denmark. See, I played NFL. Out of all the sports to play as a kid, I played gridiron. So that's what I played. I was a receiver.
Nice.
Jolie says, my heart breaks up. Got to go. Sorry, my breaks up. Got to go. Sorry. Yes. Good to see you, though. Hopefully you get to watch the rest of this one later on, Jolie. Good to have you here. And Nicole says, 49ers fan for life here. Well, I'm going to say that I was a Chiefs fan for life here. Vinny says, Chiefs buying secondhand from the Niners except for Steve Bono. Yeah, that was a rough decade or two there. That's why I'm enjoying the success now. We had Montana, and then it went to shit. And now we have Mahomes, and all things are right in the world. Tom says, Calgary Flames, Lanny McDonald. There we go.
Oh, the mustache. Yes. Anyone knows Lanny McDonald.
Yeah, I'm not overly familiar, but yeah. Vinny says, jokes. They did buy Bono also. Yes, I know. It was a fucking long, long time ago there. Yeah, wasn't good years for the Chiefs there, but we're all good now. We've got the best player possibly of all time if things keep going the way they're going. I know people will say Brady, but just on balance of work, Mahomes could beat him in the end. Philo says, seen NFL for 20 years, still can't get the rules. It is one of those ones where it's more challenging, but it is, if you get it, it's one of those things. Vinny says, how many QBs moved from the Chiefs to the Chiefs from 49ers? A lot. And we offloaded some good ones too to the 49ers in return, which is just fucking batshit stupid. Fucking that history breaks my heart. And then Philo says, Red Wings, Bob Probert too. There we go.
he was a monster. He just bashed the shit out of people. That was so good. I used to just watch the games just for him.
Yeah. There are other people that used to watch the games just purely for the fights. But it's all good. Alrighty. Is there anything else you want to add there before we get into our final two reviews for the evening there, Jeff?
Well, I said a mate of mine who's probably watching the show down in Launceston, he said, could you ask if I could get a shout out? So
yeah.
Is that possible? All right.
Go for it.
Hey, all right, Brett, his name is Brett Supercoach Martin. So he's watching. He says, yeah, he loves the show. So, yeah, I don't like to do it. It's kind of cheesy. But he asked me, so I thought, well, I'll ask.
Well done, man.
It's not a dog.
It's all good. Gotta have the fun with it. Gotta have fun with it.
I thought I heard a dog growl there.
Yeah, Nyla's here. Both dogs are here. So Nyla's, when she gets sort of rolling around on the ground trying to make herself comfortable, she does this weird sort of groaning thing as she goes through. So it's all good.
I thought for a second I thought it was Dave's stomach's growling. He was like, "I gotta eat."
We've got some love for Dave here in a second as well. Before I do, Tom says Patriots fan here. Brady is and will be always the GOAT. Hey, until it's beaten, that will be the case. So it's a long way to go yet. But yeah, Brady is a fucking legend and well done to what he does. All the best what he does next with himself. But Darren, here's one for you, Dave. Hey, Dave, did you watch the Royal Rumble?
No, I don't watch WWE anymore.
And you
I
call
think of
yourself a
AEW.
wrestling fan.
I watch AEW. I watch anything but WWE these days.
Tim
Tim
watched it. Yeah. I think Tim watched it. I think he.
Yeah, I heard about it. Predictable.
Yeah.
I haven't watched wrestling in years, but I used to like it. My younger brother, was just a
AEW is great. They're doing great things. I watch New Japan. I'll watch Impact occasionally if they've got a good matchup, or Ring of Honor occasionally. But yeah, AEW religiously, and then secondly be New Japan.
Okay.
Wasn't it like originally? I remember it was like, this is how old I am. It was WWF.
Yeah.
Then that fucking wildlife people sued them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going into the weeds here, but Vinny's gone, I miss WCW. So do I. The good WCW, not the shit when Vince Russo.
You should see the wrestling collection they got right next to me, mate.
Yeah, it's bonkers what Dave has wrestling-wise. But no, I was a huge WCW fan when the Monday Night Wars were huge. That was the time to be a wrestling fan. I haven't gotten as much into it now these days, but back then, that was fucking special. Yeah. What do we got here? Conrad says, not a wrestling fan, but was on a film shoot on Monday and Tuesday with John Cena. Yeah, he's in town, I think in Dockland, something doing a movie at the moment, which is a bit of an interesting one.
That's right.
Philo says, Habs number 20, Chris Nyland. So there we go. There's a lot of love for the hockey here tonight.
Oh,
yeah. Alrighty. We'll let Jeff go, I think.
Before I go, can I just ask one last thing?
Yeah, go
Someone
for it.
asked last week that watched, and I don't know who it was, but someone mentioned the Tea Party. Can you make my screen big?
Yes, I can. Hold on. Solo layout. There we go. Yes, I know what you're going to do.
All right. Right there. If you can see the Tea Party. Right there. And that's actually signed by all three guys, the members of the band.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
But someone mentioned the Tea Party. I'm a huge fan, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You and me both. I was I wish they would I was hoping they would come back. Oh, here we go. TC says that was me. So there we go.
There you go.
I was hoping. There we go. I was hoping they'd have enough votes to make it in, but they didn't quite have enough popularity. Them and Devin Townsend for me are probably two favorite Canadian.
It's bizarre.
But
they're so big here. I mean, that's why they've toured here.
Yeah. Jeff Martin lives here now, or he did last night.
Oh wow.
In WA.
Yeah. Wow. I know that they love it here. I know they love it. I actually saw them. That poster there that I've got, that was in 2012.
Yep.
And that was on the Reformation tour. And that album you can actually get. It's live at the Palace.
Okay, cool.
And it's in the discography. So great album too. And it's weird because when we were there, I was with a buddy of mine who's now my boss, weirdly.
Wow.
And he there was a sound, and because he loves the Tea Party, and there was this high pitched buzzing like this, and Jeff Martin was getting so pissed off because he said, "We're recording tonight," and there was this high pitched buzzing, and he was just losing his shit. And they played through the whole concert, and it was there the whole time. And then when they released the album, through the miraculous, of whatever, however they mix it, it was gone. I wanted to mention as well, I will be going to Megadeth. I'm going to Megadeth. So you going, Dave?
Not sure yet. If I can scrape up the money, yeah. Fuck, it'd be fun, but not sure yet.
Oh, I'm definitely going. A buddy of mine bought me the ticket, so I can't really say no. Yeah. And I'm going to go see your other favorite band. I'm going to the week before that, or 2 weeks before that, I'm going to see Stryper as well. I know. I'll say hi to Michael. I'll say hi to Michael for you.
Tell him I said hi.
Yeah, I'll do that. He'll definitely do that. So I'm sure. Yeah, he'll be loving that. And so, I'll tell him. I'll get the timestamp for the episode that you were so gracious.
Yeah.
And you got to watch this.
I'm sure you've seen it already.
He may have. He probably has. Wow. He probably has.
Yeah, that's why I'm not going. I don't want to ruin the concert for everyone.
After Guns N' Roses and missing out, I really do feel kind of shitty about that. But I gave the ticket away, and someone really enjoyed it who was a big fan. And then, so this actually, the Stryper will be my first concert since Download in 2019.
Wow.
Yeah. So 4 years, almost really to the month. Because I think it was March, wasn't it? March of 2019.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Early March.
And then to see Megadeth a few weeks later, it's just going to be, I'm going to blow my mind. I don't know what it's going to do. It's crazy. Anyway, I've taken up too much of your time. I'm out of here. Thank you, people. I love you all. And thanks for having me.
We'll do it again next week, man. We'll get you back again for the next round.
In fact, in regards to that, I'd definitely be in for that. I don't think I'm working evenings next week. I'll have to look at my schedule, but I think I'm free.
Cool.
But I want to speak to you at some point, Andrew, regarding something.
Okay, cool.
All right, so we'll work that out.
Yep, beautiful. We'll definitely work that out as well. There's a few things I want to get through with this sort of theme coming up as well. So there's more to explore in this regard too, I think. So we'll do some stuff, and we'll do another round next week, and we'll get chatting in between now and then as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Casper fading out.
Good to see you, man. Take it easy. We'll see you next week.
Okay.
Cheers,
Take care.
Adios,
guys.
Cool. All righty. So,
I can never work this fucking thing out. This is
I can kick you if you want.
Kick me. Can't work the fucking shit.
All right, I'll kick you. All right, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, there we go. We kicked him. All right, so what do we got here? Just quickly go through some comments. What do we got here? So, hang on. Darren says from 96 to 05 was when wrestling was entertaining. That's probably about right. TC says I saw Jeff Martin live at local brewery last year. He was incredible. Now, I haven't seen the Tea Party, but I've seen Jeff Martin live acoustic, and my God, phenomenal performer. Like, oh my goodness, one of the best acoustic live shows I've ever seen in my life. Just one of the best gigs I've seen, hands down. It was just phenomenal what he was able to do. Philly says, my daughter was born September 13, same day as Dave Mustaine. Well, there you go. Always good to share a birthday with someone who's a bit more famous. Vinny says, I feel like I need to go to confession first before I see Stryper. That's all of us, I think, especially some of us, is what we've seen. Vinny says, see you, Jeff. And Darren says, awesome stuff, Jeff. And Conrad says, I too shall be a Stryper. There's a lot of love going around for these gigs at the moment. All right, I'm going to quickly fire through a couple of reviews. One of these reviews is going to do it with a bit of a twist. But first off, let's get to the Aussie release for the week, which is, I'm assuming there's nothing. You're ready to move on there, Dave?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. All right, so you can comment. Hey?
Back to music.
Back to music, yeah.
Sorry,
Dave. I'm surprised Dave didn't take a nap. He should have had like the hold music going on.
I was thinking, go for a drink. And I was like, no, they'll be finished soon. Like, no, they're not. Go for a fucking drink.
Oh, well, sorry. You need a bar fridge out there now, mate.
I need power out here. I'm running off
Yeah,
of
that's
extension
true.
cord.
You do need that. All right, so in the comments, in the description box, you'll have a link to the track Leviathan from the mighty Nothing Sacred. This is our Aussie band for the week. This is Nothing Sacred with the same album named Leviathan. 6 tracks, 22 minutes, the second EP from Melbourne band, released February 2023 via Rockshots Records. Mind you, the first EP was back years and years ago, so like 30 plus years ago. So that's been a while between drinks for EPs. But 2 singles have been released in Leviathan and Drone. This EP sees the return of vocalist Chris Stark, who steps in for James Davies, who was on the previous album. This EP is a mix of old and new songs, with the 2 singles being new songs. Sudden Death being a previously live track, but not recorded until now. And 2 classic tracks from the 88 album, Let Us Pray, and a trance remix, one of the new songs here tonight. This band really impressed us with their No Gods album back in 2021. We all really did enjoy that one. So let's see if this one keeps things going. And Dave, how did you go with it?
Yeah, this is cool. Very cool listen. It's an easy listen too. Like 5 songs you listen to over and over. I did do that throughout the week. It gets straight to the point with the title track. Riffs are fucking awesome. There's lots of groove in the drums. Vocals are great. This is the type of metal vocals I like. It's heavy but coherent. Now it's very fit into this style of metal. You don't have to resort to the screaming shit, but yeah, it's got some bite, it's got some aggression. That's exactly what you want. When I was taking my notes when I was listening to this after the first couple of listens, I looked back over and I actually wrote the same note for pretty much every song. Killer intro. These guys really know how to start a song. And a lot of these songs be like, when you hear them live, like, that's that fucking song. Yeah, let's go fucking crazy. Yeah. They just get down to business and the song just draws you in. Guitar tone's fucking cool too for the guitar nerds. The lyrics are really engaging storytelling as well. It's performed in a way which is kind of hanging on every word. At least it was for me, but could be because the lyrics weren't on Spotify. You're kind of spoiled for choice these days. If you want to know the lyrics, you just click a button. I had to go old school with this. I had to really listen and hear what was going on, which I thought was cool. I like that. It's the band's got the old school approach to writing, performing this type of metal. If I didn't know any better, I'd swear they were a young band, a new band. The energy is there. Yeah. But the benefit is that they are seasoned veterans, so they certainly know what they're doing. Get that best of both worlds. But yeah, the fucking energy is right there. Very cool guitar work throughout. Solos are very melodic throughout, especially in Drone. That solo in that is very cool. And Guardian, that's got some very cool solos as well. I like how they have a melodic riff section in between the 2 different solos in Guardian. That was very cool. But yeah, if you like your metal, if you like your guitar playing, if you like not clean vocals, but coherent vocals, there's definitely a band to check out. But I gave this EP 8.5 out of 10. Drone and Guardian were my standouts. And I tried to avoid trance remix just because it said trance, and I don't like trance.
Did you listen to it at all, honestly?
I did listen to it.
Okay, cool. It wasn't nearly as much as you expect it to be, seriously. It wasn't.
Yeah. It wasn't terrible.
Nah.
I'm sure putting trance on it was a joke. But
almost. All they did was put some synth to it, basically. It wasn't. And
it worked for what it was.
I actually didn't mind it. I actually wouldn't mind hearing them do more of that kind of stuff. It was just, if you take the label trance away from it and just it's like a synth version of it. I thought it was really cool. It was a really good way to wrap it up. I know it's rehashing a track, but the song is cool and it works in both the original form and with that little extra layer of synth added to it, which is a nice touch here. This one opens strong with Leviathan. I love how chunky that is right from the get on that one. It's got great groove and swing. The vocal switch up is honestly seamless on this one. The vocals work nicely with this whole thing. The vocal harmonies were probably the more standout element this time around on this one. But the overall grunt this whole EP has is just fantastic. What I thought cool about the track Drone, like you mentioned the lead guitar work, but I thought the trade-off guitar solos, like you could hear and see in the videos too, when one guitarist plays, the other one plays, and they're trading off little solos. And I thought that was really cool. It came through really nicely on that track in particular. There's a lot of attention to detail across this one, little things here and there, especially in the mix. There's a lot of depth and punch in this one. But there's a lot more subtlety than you think in this one as well. I love how everything it's not frantic, but there's a weight to it. There's balls in the riffs. There's a lot of melody in these ones, like you mentioned the melody as well. But there's just something about this that's just really cool to take in just as a pure listener. Like you can get the lyric sheet out and go through it, or you can just sort of sit there and just take in the songs. And the delivery is fantastic. Performances are fucking great. The mix is wonderful. And everything about it is just good, solid metal, like with melody. It's just really, really well done. I thought the lyrical content in particular is bang on from the new tracks, in particular the current state of the world. And that was, really added some extra oomph or impact to these songs. And when you get to the Guardian track, that's originally from Let Us Pray in 88. And you don't feel it at all. Like it's not they've re-recorded it. All these songs are re-recorded for this one. But the normally you get a song from 88 to 2023. And you feel like there'd be like some sort of time shift, but these songs just fit seamlessly. Like you don't know where, unless you go and dig through it, you don't know where the old songs are and where the new songs are. You just don't know. I thought that was really well done. And it was cool for me to see Dave pick one of the new ones and one of the classic tracks as standouts on this one. It kind of shows you just how well they meshed it all together. If you didn't look into it, you wouldn't know which one was which. This one just has great attack all across it from beginning to end. There's no real breaks, but it flies by. The tempo there's enough tempo changes, but it's only a 20-minute EP, so it's not like it's a huge drain on your time. But it just flows nicely. It's easy to listen to back to back to back. It's a great companion to the album as well. If you listen to the album and you listen to this, they fit well together too. But when you get to Sudden Death, it's easy to see why that was a staple in the live set back in the day and why they would have wanted to record it now and get it out there. That's such a good song. Some serious energy. It's probably the most thrashy track on this listen here. It's almost like they left the knockout blow to the end. If you didn't have, the trance quote unquote remix after this would be the way they close it. And it just fucking goes bang. It's one of those ones sort of hits in the mouth and goes, okay, here, come and have another shot. And it's like, okay, I'll come back for more because it's a really good fucking song. I just think this EP is well put together from top to bottom. I think even that little trance remix, quote unquote, for Drone, I think is well done. It's not really, it's seriously not, it's not like you get sitting there getting anything from the Spawn soundtrack, for example, or the Mortal Kombat soundtrack from way back in the day. It's nothing like any of those things. It's really just the same song again with a bit of synth work added into it. And I really honestly did enjoy it. I thought that was a good little touch. And I wouldn't want a whole album probably from these guys, that stuff. But if they do a few more tracks with a bit of synth in it, I'm not going to complain. I think it actually complement what they're doing really well with that aspect of things. This whole thing flies by to listen to. It's a great EP. They're setting the table between the album and this. They're really setting themselves up to just fucking, I don't know, have a really strong resurgence in this band's career. I love everything's a mix of old and new. So it's good to get, both worlds in this one. It's all working well. I love what they're putting out. I think the new tracks are the highlights for sure, but this whole thing is just solid to listen to, as is the album before. And I gave this an 8.5 out of 10. I picked Leviathan and Drone as my standouts on this one. So yeah, but please do check it out. Let us know what you think. I'd love to get everyone to check out this band in particular. As far as Aussie metal goes, these guys have been around for ages. They've been on and off over the years, but it's good to see them back doing really good things at the moment. So yeah, well done to everyone involved in this. It's a good fucking EP. What do we got here? So when we were talking off topic before, Vinny said, get some sewing in, Dave.
I've actually got a patch to add to the battle jacket, so yeah, I need to.
Yeah. Conrad says, musically fine, vocals, let them down. Okay, fair enough point. Darren says, if you don't like the vocals on this one, Conrad, check out the album. That would Old Gods. Maybe check out that album. The vocals, I think they seamlessly, move from one to the other. But if you, check out that one, see if you like that better. Darren says, what an awesome EP. Love it. And that trance remix sounded like Bowie. Okay. Interesting comparison there. Oh. Nice. Cool. T says, I've got all the early stuff and it's well worth going back for a listen. We probably should one day, to be honest. That'd be cool. Nicole, here's a good comment. They were good back then. Now they are awesome. So there we go. Got some love here for the band. So check it out. Let us know what you think as well. And we're going to move on to our Patreon Choice Classic album this week. And we're going to do it with a bit of a twist. If you want to get involved in these ones, please check out our Patreon page. I know that for the patrons that are watching, there's more to come. Sorry, behind the scenes, it's been a hectic couple of weeks. I'm getting some more stuff done. But we're going to... The classic album this week is Van Halen with Van Halen. So, we're going to get a lot of love for this one. Everyone loves this album. It's one of those things that is there. In the comments now, in the description box, you'll note it there. I've put the link to Running with the Devil. So you know what you're getting into with this one. So it's Van Halen, Running with the Devil is your reference track. If you're watching us, I'm sure you know this one by now. But instead of Dave and I sitting here and waffling this one off, Dave and I are actually going to take a little bit of a break. And I'm going to play for your enjoyment some unreleased footage Now, we've done the Van Halen special, which is available on YouTube, where it was you and me, Dave, along with Jimmy and Dennis, a few years ago now, back in the garage set. That was going back, I don't know, what was that, 2018 maybe?
Yeah, about 18, I think it was.
I wanted to say 16, but I don't think 16 is right.
Yeah, about 2018.
Yeah, I think so. But we wanted to go back and do a Van Halen Revisited special back in 2021. And we actually sat down and filmed it. I haven't gotten around to fully editing it and releasing it because there's a bit of extra bits and pieces, which always makes things more complicated. But I've managed to get a chunk of it done before I had to move on to other things. And a part of that chunk that's never been seen before is that where you and me, Dave, along with Nick this time around, we sat down and reviewed the whole discography, but we actually went and I clipped out the review that we gave to, the Van Halen debut album, and figured instead of us sitting here and talking about it, we'll go back and revisit this unseen footage before, because Dave, you and I have spoken about it at least twice now. So I figured everyone can see the original one we did. So let's see the revisit one we did, and we've never released it until this moment. So this is the first look at something that's not been seen before. I know it's pre-recorded. We're doing the whole Santa Cruz joke here, but I figured we'd show people something we've not actually shown to the public before, and have a little fun with this. So hopefully you'll enjoy this one. This is a bit of we'll be back at the end of it. That goes for, hang on, I can check how long it goes for. It goes for 12 minutes. So we'll play that one for you now. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Make sure you give us your thoughts on the Van Halen debut album, self-titled, as we go through it. But yeah, we'll take a bit of a break, and while we're having a minute here, Dave and I myself, we'll let you watch this particular review right about now. So hopefully you all enjoy it. We'll come back at the end of it and give us, just any updated thoughts you might have. But here we go. Our first review for this special takes us all the way back to the beginning with Van Halen and the self-titled album, which is Van Halen. 11 tracks, 35 minutes, the debut album from the band, released February 1978 via Warner Brothers, produced by Ted Templeman at Sunset Sound Recorders in Hollywood. 5 singles are released from this, including Running with the Devil and Ain't Talking About Love. The album peaked number 19 in the US, number 34 in the UK, number 17, here in Australia. Also doing well in other regions, and has been certified gold in the UK, Finland, France, and Germany, platinum in the Netherlands, 4 times platinum in Canada, and diamond in the US. This album is widely regarded as one of the greatest debut albums of all time. Was recorded mostly live and took about 3 weeks, and also has a cover of You Really Got Me from The Kinks on this one. Dave, let's go to you first.
Okay. I was about 21, and I was an avid reader of Guitar World, constantly reading things about Eddie Van Halen, seeing exercises and lessons. I thought, I don't own a single Van Halen album. Actually, I haven't really heard much Van Halen. I have to unfuck that. So I went to the music shop and bought this. Took it home and absolutely loved it. I mean, it was 2001. So I'd grown up through the 80s, through the 90s, and you hear all the bands that were imitated or inspired by Van Halen. But hearing the original, hearing Eruption for the first time, just absolutely blew my mind. And you can hear a million people try and do what Eddie Van Halen did, but just hearing, whenever you hear it for the first time, it's just something special. And that stuff will probably last until we're all dead and buried and the next generation finds these albums. It's just going to be timeless.
Yeah.
It's just easily one of those game-changing albums that changed the way people played guitar, composed songs, dressed, performed. And it's easy to forget that this was 1978 when this came out. This is what people think the 80s is all about. And this was a couple of years before its time. Hence why it became like the flag bearer or the thing that everybody else wanted to do. And if you think back to 1978, some of the albums that came up then, I mean, AC/DC Power Age, Queen, Jazz, Alice Cooper's From the Inside, Thin Lizzy's Live and Dangerous, all great albums, but not one of them sounds like Van Halen.
Yeah.
So I'm sure this probably scared a few people when it came out. I'm sure people went back into their little rehearsal studios and started practicing and trying to find out how the hell's he getting this sound? How's he doing this stuff?
The opening track is just fucking what?
Yeah. Like, what is this? And then Eruption. It's just like, how are you getting this out of your guitar?
Yeah.
But since this is just party music, good time, fun. You had some of the darker styles throughout the 70s. You had the mystic stuff from Zeppelin. You had the darker stuff from Sabbath. But this is just saying, music can be fun. We can be great musicians, but we're not going to take ourselves seriously. And that's just something that everyone can latch onto year after year, decade after decade. And if you haven't heard this, this is a great starting place for the band. But overall, many consider it to be one of the best debuts of all time. I'd say it's definitely up there. There's a lot I'd put in there. I could have discussions and arguments over which one would actually be the best, but it'd be in the top 5, probably somewhere. Yeah. Top 5, definitely top 10, but probably the top 5 as well. I give it 9 out of 10. Ain't Talking About Love, Eruption, You Really Got Me, and I'm the One. I'm the One is awesome in Airheads. If you haven't seen Airheads, check that out. But my wife's a big fan of the Kinks. Yeah. So she loves their version of You Really Got Me. I like Van Halen's cover. So it's been a massive discussion argument for many, many years. But, that was a very iconic song to start with. And what Van Halen did was just took it to a whole new level. And it's fucking great.
Nice. Cool. What about you, Nick?
Okay, so look, my introduction to Van Halen was God, I feel fucking old now. As a 10 or 11-year-old, I heard Jump off the 1984 albums. Obviously, 1984, I was born in 74, so I was 10, hitting 11. Heard it in Target of all places. That's what they used to play back then, proper music in fucking these department stores.
Yeah, they were a good time.
Yeah, and it was probably before your time, but what they used to do also on commercial TV, they used to play some songs every now and then instead in place of commercials. No way they're going to do it now, but Jump was one of the staples. So really got into the band, and at that time, I was really getting to music. I had my uncle who was teaching me guitar, and I started just playing, obviously, about that year. He's getting me into Black Sabbath, into Deep Purple, all these other bands. Heard Van Halen, I go to him, hey, teach me some of this stuff. He goes, impossible. I goes, I can't teach you that stuff, because we're talking about the Jump solo. But what he did, he goes to me, oh, that's not their first album and stuff. I go, oh, is it? No. And it's like as an 11-year-old sort of thing. He gave me the old album.
Oh, wow.
There it is.
Nice.
So that's my original copy from when I was 10 or 11 years old. So I started going backwards. I heard this album, and don't forget, I guess my pivot point was like, I'm comparing this band to bands I was into. I love Prince. I was into Prince. I was into Bruce Springsteen, obviously Michael Jackson, all this kind of stuff at the time. Yeah. We're saying Deep Purple, Sabbath, everything like that. I heard this, and the world changed. I'd never heard a band, forget about the guitar, a band like that. The harmonies, just a good time, upbeat, feeling kind of music. Introduced the whole Southern California style sound to me, and it's something that I haven't let go of it. So for me, this is a pivotal album. Obviously, we talked about Running with the Devil. What an opening track to a band's career. Probably like the most simple bass line, but it fucking works, especially with like bloody Eddie's doing over top. And what kind of balls does it take to put Eruption as a second song on an album? Yeah, your debut album, your second track is a guitar instrumental. What kind of balls does that take? How much did these guys back themselves? Well, a hell of a lot. The world changed for me. This album to me means a hell of a lot. We all know about the song. We know Eruption. We know Running for the Devil. Ain't Talking About Love. Obviously, Dave mentioned You Really Got Me. Everyone knows that one as well. In listening to this, and by the way, for the audience, when I found out they were doing a Van Halen tribute and I was in it, I've written no notes for this. This is all off the top of my head, because this is what I listen to all day, every day. What really makes this album special for me is that you can't take one track off this album and it not being a lesser album. There's not one track on this album that doesn't fit where it should be. If I was going to say, you take off Little Dreamer, that's not a bad song, right? It's probably the worst song on the album, but it's still a fucking great song. The album becomes a lesser album. For me, this album, it's the tracks like I'm the One, Jamie's Crying, what a fucking song. Yeah. Atomic Punk, Feel Your Love Tonight. So all these songs that were kind of like that second tier below, obviously, Running for the Devil, Eruption. That's what makes this album for me. This band had a hunger at the time and sort of, pretty much gave the scene a kick up the arse that it needed, to be honest. So what I think of this album, mate, this album's pivotal. For me, is this a best debut? Probably not the best debut, but it's definitely my top 3. Yeah. And this is probably the closest to hard rock or heavy metal that I've got in my maybe top 5 to 10 debuts, to be honest. Yeah. Everyone talks about Appetite for Destruction. That's in there. But for me, personally, that's just my opinion. It's a few rungs down. So this album means a hell of a lot to me, sort of thing. So ranking out of 10, look, I've got to give it a 10, but not because I think it's the best Van Halen album, because spoiler alert, I don't think it is. Okay. Yep. but just for the influence and what it caused in the scene, the change that it caused, the whole momentum shift. I can't give it anything less than a 10. And like I said, I don't think it's the best album musically or anything like that, but for the impact that it had, I've got to give it a 10.
Yep. Hey, I don't blame you at all for that, and you wouldn't be the only one out there saying that either. I think that the impact this album had and still has today is pretty fucking special.
Oh yeah.
I reckon the tone they set from the opening beat of this thing, like just when you drop the needle and you got that coming, the tuning down note kind of thing, and then the bass kicked in, and just you got that little chime moment, and just off you go, and it's just fucking bonkers from there. And for me, it's the production. This is the late 70s. This sounds fucking fantastic today. I like the hard panning, the old school between the bass and the lead, just left and right. This is the album or the time where people used to literally put the change dial on their stereo system so they could sit with the guitar and learn to play a song. I love that shit, and this is just one of those throwback moments in time for me. I like how the bass and the vocals really get to push things along. The drums get some panning on it as well. It's really, really nice. I think the gang vocals stand out for this band, or especially in the Roth era, the gang vocals are right up there. But they add so much color and life to this and give plenty of room for Dave to go and do his thing, which is to just go fucking nuts. And he does that beautifully well. Each and every performance is brilliant on the album. There's no denying the talent here. And like it's been said before, it'll be said again, putting Eruption as your second track is one of the ballsiest moves of all time. The only way they could have made a ball is just to have the album open with it. That's the only thing they could have done to be a bigger statement. That is huge.
Yeah.
And the cover on this one as well, it was really early in the piece for them, but that Kinks cover is really well done. They made the song their own, and they did that as a theme throughout their career overall, but I like how they did a few little things to make it their own, and generally across the album, the bass really gets to lead and shine on this one. Things like Running with the Devil, obviously, but there's other parts of this album too where the bass, Michael Anthony and his work really gets to sort of drive the pacing of it all. That was a really nice touch, and what this band never did was overplay. For as amazing as the solos were from Eddie, they never overplayed things and did things over the top. As flashy and as stunning as it all is, they always knew when to leave space, and they did that from the start on this one. I think Roth's vibe just oozes out of the speakers on this one. You can see why you've got him as a front man from the start, because he's just smoking out there, and you can see why the appeal, even just listening to the album, it made you want to go and see this live. The videos doesn't matter. Like, you hear the album, you go, I want to go and see that, because his performance is stunning. I think the different flavors on this one, the band are basically playing the live set at this point in time, and they've got a lot going on, and it works well. The album flies by. Good tempo changes go in with that. You got a bit slow in the back third of the album kind of thing, but it's a good natural progression is to listen to this thing from start to finish. And one of the other things too about this, which is a common sticking point later on, but on this one, the storytelling, the lyrics are fantastic. You can tell, like you've mentioned, that they were hungry at this time. They wanted to do some stuff. They had some stories to tell while they were doing it. A lot of fun in it, but there was always, while you got the wink and a smile kind of thing, there's a bit more of a substance in some of these ones as well. Yeah. I think that as far as, debut albums go, it's right up there. It'll be in, I think, most people's top 5. We should do a poll with the audience one day about who they put in their top 5 debut albums, and then we'll do a list out of that at some stage. We'll do that another time. But for me, this is an album that's really good because the hits are fantastic, but the deep dive is just as worth listening to as well. I think there are some good deep cuts in this record. One of those being my standout. So I gave it a 9 out of 10. Running with the Devil, Ain't Talking About Love, you have to give those ones, but I also picked I'm the One as my third standout on this one. That's a bit of a deeper cut, and I fucking love that album to death. I love that song to death, sorry, as well as the album overall. But anyway.
And there we have it. We're back, and it's just Dave and I now. So that was something a bit different. We've played with a few little different tricks tonight to get some things over the line, but I thought it was good to, like, I don't know, Dave, if there's much you'd want to add to that review that we did from just a couple of years ago. Any thoughts you wanted to add to that one?
No, not really. I mean, everyone watching tonight probably has heard Van Halen 1, and
yeah,
it is one of the greatest debuts of all time. Amazing album, lots of cool songs, great guitar playing. It's just one of those bands that changed the way things were done. But, man, it was weird watching a review from a few years ago.
It's it is a bit quirky, and you can see how things have shifted over the years. Like that, I was actually filming in that corner over there, and it didn't have this.
Up the back deck and
yeah, on the back deck there. Like it's, we do. It's a bit different, like when you look back on things, but you've done a lot of changes over the years. It's funny because the conversation with Hard Music Oz has been happening behind the scenes while that's been going on. So I can't reply to you now in the message there, mate. But I'm glad you're enjoying it tonight. But yeah, going back over things over the years, like I was saying to Steve there, that the like he's been watching us since Jimmy and Dennis from the show. And so it's weird to go back and watch things that, over the years made a lot of changes. So we got some old guard with us. We thank everyone for sticking with us over the years, and we find new people along the way as well. And some people jump off, and whatever your journey with us, it's always appreciated. But it's always fun to go back and just see something we've done before, especially in this context, because I don't think there's much we could add to that review, especially you and I, that we've done it before that as well. But I think that, and that other one's available. Just having something having Nick's take on it was good. And that one too, it was refreshing to have Nick involved in that one. But going back and being able to pull something out that's not been seen before, even though we recorded it, it's nice to be able to do that from time to time. And I did like the idea in there. I didn't realize till, but getting people, do a poll for people's best debut albums of all time. Don't do it in the comments now. We'll do a video for it later on. If we go through the comments, I'd be fucking mad. But yeah, if you've got any thoughts on the album, then please do share. I haven't got much more I would add to it, to be honest. My thoughts have, if anything, my fondness for that band has grown more and more over the years. I was much more of a Sammy Hagar fan than a DLR fan. I know it's sacrilege some people out there. I just liked his musicality more. But doing deep dives now a couple of times into the discography, you can really see and feel the impact that DLR had as well. So for me, I don't think the band did much wrong with the two main vocalists. When you get to Gary Sharon and other stuff, then maybe, and it's not the vocalist's fault in that example, but yeah, they did some weird choices toward the end, but the band at its peak was just fucking phenomenal, and it was just a great way to start off the career for them. So I still love the album to bits. I think it's fantastic. It's one of those ones you can always listen to, and it's cool for me and my wife Jody, who loves Van Halen as well, especially the David Lee Roth era. So it's one of those ones we can both sit down and enjoy whenever we want to as well, which is always cool to have that with your
cool.
Your nearest and dearest.
I had an album finished today. I was listening on Spotify, and just they put random tracks afterwards.
Yeah,
and Talking About Love comes on.
Cool.
Like, fuck yeah, crank it up. It's one of the best pumping songs. Got great guitar tone. One of those ones that's really fun to put in the hours to try and learn how to play.
Yeah,
excellent song. Fucking album rules.
Yeah, that's why I liked I'm the One though. The energy on that one, just there's a lot of energy on that one.
It just reminds me of Airheads, like I said in the review. Just every time that song comes on. It's like, we're raiding the radio station. We're taking a whole bunch of free shit.
Yeah. And tell me you wouldn't if you could. Like, fuck me, that'd be... Yeah. No, it was so cool. Like, it's great to go back and revisit those ones. But hopefully the audience out there tonight have enjoyed. Instead of us sitting here and just going, we'll actually pull something out of the archives. We haven't actually aired before anywhere. It's the first time that's been released. So hopefully everyone enjoyed it. Got a bit of a kick out of seeing something a bit different tonight. Especially with the premiere of the track from Avalanche earlier on too. So we're having a bit of a different night tonight. We're getting toward the end now. Got some comments here. Conrad said Van Halen with DLR was untouchable. Black Sabbath took them out on tour in support in the early 80s throughout the US and said never again as Van Halen stole a show every night. And yeah, that is out there. Vinny says, a band I wish I could listen to for the first time again. Now, that's an awesome question, too. That's something we should do one, like do the debut albums and do also what is a band you wish you could listen to for the first time again? That would be pretty fucking cool. Darren says, this album changed the game, giving us Eddie Van Halen, the brilliant Eruption, Running with the Devil, and Atomic Punk, which it does for sure. Yep. But Darren also says, I'm with you there, Andrew. Hagar over Roth, and I do just appreciate the musicality.
Yeah.
Michael says, when it came out, friends, bigger brothers made us listen to it saying, you got to hear this guy play guitar and remember a lot of the hype. That would have been cool. To actually be present when that was going on would have been absolutely fantastic.
My first introduction to Van Halen was probably Back to the Future. When Marty puts that cassette in and it says Van Halen.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
When I was a little kid.
I didn't, it was weirder for me growing up because we didn't have all that sort of stuff going on in the home, being a very conservative-based household. But I'm trying to think, it would have been definitely the Hagar era was the first example I would have seen.
Yeah. Jump was everywhere when it came out.
Yeah, yeah. But maybe Back to the Future might have been it. I don't know. I would have to dig through the memories a bit more there, but I don't know. But yeah, it's cool hearing the stories about how older brothers, so many stories of older brothers getting younger brothers to listen to shit. is cool.
Yep.
And I get the other side because I'm the older brother in my family. So I've hooked my brother onto all these bands that I've loved over the years, which has been fucking cool to see it in the other way around as well.
I didn't have an older brother, but all my friends had older brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
They're telling my friends to listen to this shit, and my friends are telling me to listen to this shit. I'm just like, yep, give more.
Yeah, that's it. And look at us now. We both haven't stopped getting hungry for new music at all times, which is fantastic.
Exactly.
Man, family, say great job again. Thanks. Rock on. We always appreciate you joining us. Thanks for joining in tonight. Vinny says, Vinny says, have to agree, Andrew. Enjoyed them with Sammy Hagar more, but it could be long debate itself. 84 is stunning. That's true too. Bash says, can't say any more than that was reviewed. A unique album for a time, rocked and never stopped listening to it. Yeah, and that's true as well. There's a lot of love for that album, deservedly so. It's one of those ones that is absolutely timeless when you break it all down. So it's to have one album like that in your career. But Vinny says 84, like fuck. Like this band had iconic album after iconic album, so they had one hell of a career. Not as big, like release-wise, as people could have wished, but what they did put out, fucking stunning. But that brings us sort of toward the close of things here. We'll start doing the wrap-up. So, Dave, if you got anything else you want to jump in there, then throw it at me while we're doing the wrap-up. Basher jumped in, so a big thank you to Basher for joining us on the Patreon side of things. But a big thank you to TC, Sonia, Lee, Bell, Conrad, Jeff, Jason, Brendan, 679 Marty, Sam, Trash, Carolyn, Gwyneth, Andrew, Daniel, the Van Family, Adam Beach, Darren, Vinny Vincent, and many more as well as a part of our Patreon support crew. A big thank you to our fantastic sponsors as well, in Squid Ink Screenprinting, Alt-Cvlt Rockstar Finance. Check them out. Give them a like, follow, a share. Their details, just like ours, and the link to our Patreon page is in the description box of this one. So please do check it out. Any help you can give us at all is greatly appreciated. We're going to be working on some different raffles and stuff coming up this year too. So bear with me for a bit while I work on a few things behind the scenes. We're going to try and do some different raffles this year, so hopefully that'll sort of help things along a bit here. Any help you can give us at all is always greatly appreciated. We'll try and make it, worth your while as well. We're back again next Thursday night with another stream. Our Aussie release for the week will be The Poor with High Price Deed. We're going to go and listen.
Thank you.
Dave's happy already. Now we're going to undo Dave's happiness because our Blame Canada special, or our Blame Canada round 3, is Harem Scarum Mood Swings. We got them back in versus Moving Pictures from Rush, Dave. So that'll be...
fuck.
I taketh away.
Man.
But yes. I'll let you know what the Patreon choice is later on as well. We're going to be filming our deep cuts this weekend. Our first deep cuts for the year is going to be Queen Part 1, which will be released sometime over the next week or two. We'll have a bonus tracks thing coming out soon too, which will have a Black Star Riders review, Kill Code review, probably do Main Skin in there as well. We'll have Glam Fest review. Tim was kind enough to send me a Red Hot Chili Peppers review through as well. So I'm going to put all that together and have a bonus tracks thing going out there as well. On TV, don't forget, check us out every Thursday night at 10:30 p.m. So just about now, actually, on Channel 44 in Adelaide via the TV over there, or you can get it online at ctvplus.org.au or the CTV Plus app. We're on Channel 44 Adelaide, 10:30 p.m. local time on Thursday nights, and 11 p.m. I couldn't get used to that. 11 p.m. Saturday nights on Channel 31 in Melbourne. For this upcoming run of episodes, we'll have a special little thing Dave and I put together to do with Valentine's Day coming up this Saturday night, and then next week on Thursday night. That's going to be a lot of fun. Our version of Valentine's Day is a bit different to others. After that will be another episode dedicated to new music, and then our end of month episode is going to be a celebration of new metal or the antidote. So we're probably going to call this the poison and the antidote. I reckon that might be the theme, because we'll do new metal and then the antidote to I think it was between 93 and 2003 was the decade we sort of went with to do the antidote there. So that's the theme for the special episode at the end of the month on TV side of things. So, yeah, that's about what we got there. Got some comments quickly here. Jeff says, I heard that first album somewhere between 78 and 79. One of my best friends had it, and I heard it because of him. Absolute classic. Same with Back in Black in 1980, but that's another story. Very good points there. Andrew says, thanks, guys. Another fun night was editing photos while listening. Glad it was enjoyable for you, and hopefully it got you to do some more work there. It's always, I actually enjoy a few podcasts myself, and it's nice having things on in the background where you're just chipping away at stuff, which is cool. Hopefully it was as helpful to you, Andrew, as it is for me. Nicole says, I had older friends that introduced me to my metal journey. That's the way it is for everyone, I think, at the end of the day. Darren says, the new album from The Poor is freaking awesome. There we go. And also, great show again, guys. Have a great weekend. Thank you. You too, everyone out there. Have a good time coming up. Before we get out of here, we are going to go to our favorite part of each week, though, and that is the bin. So, Dave, what have you got for us this week?
Alrighty. Now, if you watched last week, you saw I had the battle jacket. It's quite a warm night tonight, so I fucking pussied out. And it's not on. Plus, I wanted to show off my Wednesday 13 t-shirt from the concert. So, fucking cool. Anyway, with the battle jacket, I've been looking for patches of my favorite bands. Some are very obtainable, the bigger known bands. Some of the lesser known bands, very hard to get patches. They are out there, but there was a lot of bootleg shit out there. A lot of stuff that looks really fucking dodgy. So I remember when I was a kid and patches were very easily obtainable. Not so much anymore. There are some good places around locally, but there are also some very dodgy people out there, especially overseas. Now, they look good on their websites, but if you actually do some research and check out like conversations on Reddit and all those type of pages, a dodgy delivery, people take your money, fucked up packet postage, and actually shit quality when you get them. So if you are putting together a battle jacket like I am, make sure you're checking where you're buying from, because there's a lot of dodgy shit. So bootleg stuff in the fucking bin.
Wow, there you go. Yeah, no, there's a lot of that stuff out there. Now, I prefaced at the top of the episode tonight that I'd have a very somber bin tonight. And I do hate to bring the mood down, but it's one of those things I do want to address because it is pertinent to this past week in particular. Now, my daughter had to go to a funeral to a childhood friend of hers just a few days ago now to do this one. And what I'm putting in the bin tonight is drink driving, because that's ultimately what caused this one to go down. The thing is, the kid had his birthday, and he was having a few drinks on his birthday, obviously, which is fair enough. And then he got upset. Something happened. He left in a fit of anger, drove his car, stacked it, and that was the end for the kid. So I don't know. I lost someone years and years ago now, not to drink driving, but just they just had a car accident. And I remember the phone call vividly to this day. Just this sort of stuff, just, be safe on the roads, but just especially drink driving, just it can go in the bin. I just, we all think we're invincible at some point or another. I'm sure a lot of us have done dumb things. We got to live to regret, but there are some of us that don't get to live to regret these things. And so just for those of us that have gotten past it, and for those of us that are here today, just remind everyone else out there to just be a bit safer about things, because once it's gone, it's gone, it's over. And the people that are left behind, they just, it's no fun at all for anyone. So sorry to be a bit somber tonight, but it happened. So I'm just going to bin drink driving just for this week, because the kid was way too young for that, way too young.
Important thing to bring up, though. Good conversation to have.
Yeah, it's important. I'm not a saint. Fuck, I've done some dumb shit over the years, but fuck me, dude.
Shit, but dead is dead. Watch out for your friends. Watch out for yourself. Yeah.
So, and if someone's trying to drive away and they had a few, take the keys. Like, just don't let it happen. I know that sounds.
They can hate you the next day. They'll probably thank you in the long run.
Yeah. But on his birthday night, like, of all things, it's like, fuck, that's just brutal. So unfortunately that's the way it worked out. So just and if anyone of that family, or to my daughter, if any of them watching this at any point or listening to it, then my condolences again. Not good at all for anyone involved. But sorry, like I said, somber note, but that's just kind of where it is sometimes. You gotta unfortunately do that from time to time, get a bit real for a second, and we have a lot of fun, but sometimes just got to cross over and make it a bit more different. But anyway, back again with another show next week with more fun and games, more stupidity. We'll get Casper the Friendly Ghost back again, I'm sure.
He's going already. This is fucking great.
And we'll have another blast. And thank you all for joining us again. And hopefully you'll join us all same time and place next week. Is there anything else you wanted to add there, Dave? Or are we going to go through the final comments and get out of here?
I think we're done. Let's wrap it up.
All right, cool. Final comments. Rowan says, I never had anyone suggesting music to me. I first heard of most of this stuff in the 90s. I'm pretty much in the same boat as you. Once I found Queen, then my journey took off, and that's why it's cool to do the Queen deep cuts thing for me. But we'll get into that in the actual deep cut stuff. Nicole says, check with Greta Metal from Melbourne. She has patches for sale. There we go. There. And Nudes might be able to hook you up too, Dave. Nudes has some contacts.
Yeah.
So if you've got patches, put them in the comments. Also, Sally says, thanks, guys. Good to have you all. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And make sure you look after yourselves. Have a great weekend ahead. And we'll see you all again with other stuff online, but also on our TV stuff and our next live stream, same time, place next week. But until next time, though, I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
As always,
drink up
and rock on.